Will you remember they're just giant chickens? The Bucks are back in Canada with coverage starting tonight at 6.
Giannis weaving his way back and forth all the way to the cup on the other side. Lays it in with that same left hand.
On your home of the Milwaukee Bucks, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 50 degrees and sunny, a high of 65. Today, a low of 43 overnight with clear skies. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Let's check in with Debbie Lazaga on that situation at 43 northbound right near Hampton.
Yeah, it's just north of Hampton Avenue. We had a box fire that was completely engulfed in flames. Now, squads and fire trucks have been out there for a while now, so the fire is out, but they are trying to offload, make sure all the fire is put out inside that truck. So it's just basically a shell right now. But the two right lanes are blocked right now, and it is going to be a while before the whole thing gets cleared out of the way. You can only squeeze through on that left lane. So big delays coming in from Fond du Lac Avenue up to that point. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
And we'll have another check on that area in just about 5 minutes. The Brewers Stadium package is on its way to Governor Evers' desks after getting approval in both chambers of the state government.
A bipartisan vote in the Senate starting the process Tuesday. Republican State Senator John Jagler tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News he was initially a no.
Because I wanted a bigger contribution from the Brewers, and I said all along, I cannot, in good conscience, vote for money to winterize that stadium without a ticket surcharge coming back.
That ticket tax now included in the final bill with hopes of generating $14 million in additional revenue by 2024. Jagler says funding the repairs made fiscal sense, but also,
I know how devastating it would be to lose a sport franchise in my home state under my watch.
Wyatt Barmar-Pooley, WTMJ News.
The three Democrat holdouts on the package in the Senate, Tim Carpenter, Chris Larson, and Lena Taylor, have all said the bill solely benefits the Brewers and not Southeast Wisconsin. A week after a car accident sent him to the hospital with serious injuries, Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman sharing updates on his recovery in an exclusive interview with our partners at TMJ4 News.
It can be challenging, frustrating in regards to that. You got so much work to do and being hampered in regards to being injured and trying to, balance the still being present to help and do the work that needs to be done for our city, but also understand that you need to take care of yourself.
Chief Norman says he's slowly but surely recovering and thankful for great support and medical attention. And thousands of Starbucks workers planning a walkout tomorrow during Red Cup Day, accusing the company of overloading them with customer orders and no proper staffing. ABC's Whit Johnson has more.
A massively popular promotional event when Starbucks gives out those holiday-themed reusable cups, typically one of the most profitable days of the year for the company. Thousands of unionized workers from hundreds of locations across the country are set to walk off the job. They're accusing Starbucks of refusing to bargain over staffing and other issues at a time when the company announced record sales.
In a statement, Starbucks says the union for those workers has not come to the bargaining table in more than 4 months. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update still positive for the majors. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on a big meeting between President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping later today. The Dow Jones up 78 points this morning to 34,906. The S&P 500 up 12 points and the Nasdaq up 41 points on the morning. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Have a check on your sports, traffic, and weather on the way in just a moment. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:06.
So if you're already in a relationship with an auto service center, that's great. We hope things keep firing on all cylinders.
But if you're not in a relationship, why not book your next date with us at Richlands the next time you're due for service?
All of our locations are AAA approved and staffed by ASC certified technicians with PhDs in
We can fix anything!
Put that on top of the friendliest, hardest working staff you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center,
and you've got yourself a rock solid date.
The next time you're due for factory scheduled maintenance
or tires, brakes, and suspension service,
book your date at richlawns.com.
Or just Google us. But remember, Richlands is spelled with 2 N's.
And oh yeah, be safe, buckle up, and hey,
always make sure you have good tread on your tires. I'm Courtney Matchkey with Richlands, and you're due for a date.
Clever.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. The teams I trust to take care of the water to protect my family are Guthrie and Fry. They've provided expert advice, quality service, and reliable water since 1974. What really sets them apart is their level of customer service. Before, during, and after the transaction, they're going to take care of you like they take care of me. Owners Sue and Rob are well-known and very generous in the local community. They will take care of all your water needs. GuthrieFryWater.com.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. My lower back and neck feel so much better after a few months' care with Dr. Alex and his team. But here's the thing. It's not only neck and back. Testimonials from my fellow patients. One young lady said, my stomach feels better. Another woman said she no longer has pain in her knees. Many patients talk about getting better sleep. It's worth a consultation with Connect Chiropractic to see how they can help. Book your first appointment at goconnectchiro.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Chicago Bulls, Milwaukee back in Toronto tonight to take on the Raptors. The start for the Bucks this season has been rocky at times, but according to head coach Adrian Griffin, patience is the name of the game in Milwaukee.
Just still learning each other, learning the players. It's been a lot, and I take my hat off to our players because they're juggling more than what people know. And, we don't disclose everything, but, just different lineups, minute restrictions, having a new coach trying to learn different language, different terminology, and then going out there and have to perform to a high level.
Coverage of tonight's game will get underway right here on WTMJ beginning at 6. Two college heroes for the Marquette Golden Eagles passed their first big test of the season on Tuesday night.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Right now on 43 northbound, still dealing with the mess related to that earlier box truck fire. The backups extending all the way south of North Avenue right now. It's a 22-minute drive from the Marquette to Brown Deer Road. 43 south and north, the only real slow spots on the system, though, right now. Just a couple of other minor incidents blocking the shoulder in different parts of the system, but overall, it looks pretty good.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny once again, mild today, a high of 65, mainly clear overnight tonight with a low of 43. Clouds will be on the increase for your Thursday, still mild though, a high again of 65 degrees. Then comes the cool down along with some early morning showers. The sun will return in the afternoon Friday, but the high will reach just 48 degrees. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 50. Continued sunny on Sunday with a high of 48 degrees. Right now in Madison, clear skies and 49. Same in Green Bay. Waukesha, mostly sunny and 48. And in Milwaukee, clear skies and 50 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:10.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. Happy Hump Day if you celebrate that day. Annie Schwartz, law enforcement communications expert, joining me in studio as she often does on Wednesdays in the 9 o'clock hour. Happy Wednesday to you, Annie Schwartz.
Happy Hump Day. I just wish I could do the Hump Day thing, but I don't have it. I don't have it.
Clever producer Charlie probably.
I bet Charlie's got something.
He's got something up his sleeve.
Charlie's got something.
So there's always a lot to talk about when you're talking about law enforcement. And if you're new to the show or new to what we're talking about here, we try to focus on law enforcement-related stories, public safety probably more appropriately, because I know that we're going to have Chief Lipsky on in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to be joined by a special guest at 9:30.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking to Waukesha Police Chief Dan Thompson. Chief Thompson, somebody I worked with when I was at the Milwaukee Police Department. He was the lieutenant on the bomb squad, and he is now the chief of police in Waukesha. Been there for a few years, and what we really bonded over the tragedy, the massacre at the Waukesha Christmas Parade 2 years ago. 2 years ago Tuesday, actually.
Yeah, I've had so many conversations over the last 2 years with the mayor, Sean Riley, with the police chief. Even a couple of the dancing grannies have joined me on the show. A day that none of us will ever forget. No. A tragedy that a lot of us think should have never happened in the first place. But again, it's one of those crazy things that happens in the world we live in. Somebody decides, spur of the moment, randomly, that they're going to mow people down in probably one of the most quiet settings you could ever imagine. People just enjoying a nice Christmas parade, and then we saw what unfolded on that tragic day. So, yeah, that's a conversation that I'm looking forward to. And it kind of plays off what we talked about last week with officer wellness.
Absolutely, because part of the question that I think media need to be asking when they're doing stories on, it's been 2 years, because they like those benchmark stories, of course, is let's talk about the feelings 2 years later. How are the first responders coping with what they saw that day? I was there, Steve. I wasn't there at the scene. I was in the command post with the first responders, with the chiefs, and with the mayor, and with the then city administrator. And I remember looking around that room and thinking, everyone here, including the police chief and everybody else, is a victim. So we're sitting here talking about how are we going to tell people this story, but how do we do that in a way that's mindful of the fact that the people that I'm talking with about telling the story are also victims. So it's a great conversation, I think, and I'd like to. I think the wellness piece is important. A lot of the people have not been willing to do interviews or to talk about it. A lot of the firefighters or the EMTs, it's just like, no, you know what? Don't want to talk about it. But Dan Thompson's their chief, and he's got a lot to say. So I hope people can stick around, because he really has some heartfelt observations about that day and the 2 years since. That's
an interesting point, because I've also heard from members of the public safety community, and there really are two trains of thought. It happened. I've kind of moved past it. And the other one is, there are reasons why we should communicate what happened, how we responded, things we could do better, and probably more importantly, how we heal the community, because part of having a strong, vital community is that you have to heal after incidents like this, whatever the incident is, whether it's a mass shooting, whether it's what happened in Waukesha. Speaking of communication, so you forwarded something on to me, and it's probably pretty well disseminated now, is the statement that came from the Milwaukee Common Council related to the verdict of the Joel Acevedo Mattioli trial.
Mm-hmm. These are things that hurt my hair, Steve. I mean, honestly.
Hurts your hair.
It hurts my hair because I saw this come across, and I thought, I was taken aback. And it's not because I want to make a commentary on whether I felt that the verdict was right or wrong. You've got the Common Council of a major city taking a position on a verdict in a criminal trial that they didn't like. And I would say my theory here is that had this been anybody else on trial for a homicide, I don't remember the Common Council coming out and making any statements when there's been a conviction of someone who was convicted of shooting a police officer. I don't really remember them coming out with a statement on that. So I guess I'm puzzled. I'm challenged to figure out, what they wanted to accomplish by coming out and really giving their own. I mean, look at what it says in this statement. Joel Acevedo would be alive today had he not been placed in a chokehold. Really? Are you so now?
They are now the judge and jury.
Now we not only have a Common Council, but we have 15 physicians and medical examiners. How lucky are we on the Common Council? So I just, if we're going to comment as a body, as a governmental body that we elect, if they're going to comment on jury verdicts, then let's see some other comments. Let's see a comment the next time we convict somebody in the shooting of a police officer or the battery of a police officer. Let's see that.
Yeah, I'm a strong point, and I'm in complete agreement with you on this. So there's two questions I'm going to ask you after the break. One, a very specific question about the last line of this statement, which I take umbrage to, because they're asking for something they have no business asking for. And secondly, big picture, is this, I'll tee it up before the break, is this a legacy, unfortunate legacy, of the George Floyd case? We'll discuss that with Annie Schwartz, our guest, as she is every Wednesday, Law Enforcement Hour right here in WTMJ. If you want to weigh in with the comments. Feedback, 855-616-1620. That's the Old National Bank talk and text line. More with Annie after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this. If you missed this.
Brewers owner Mark Attanasio is with us on WTMJ. Why is he leaving Milwaukee where he says that he loved it and didn't give you the chance to make the counteroffer?
You'll have to ask Craig that.
Or this.
ABC's Jordana Miller is live in Jerusalem. Just from a geographical sense, how are the Israeli troops deployed in the country?
Well, the main focus of the Israeli army is the battle in northern Gaza.
Check out Wisconsin's Afternoon News, the podcast, presented by Guy's Garage Doors.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser. I've been a partner, and they've been a partner with WTMJ for longer than I've been around, but I've been a partner with them for the last 5 years, driving their great vehicles. Just had a pre-owned vehicle. This week, picked up a brand new Ford Explorer 2023, kind of learning the ins and outs of that vehicle. I'll tell you all about that in the months ahead. But I want to tell you about what else Heiser does. One, they have a great inventory right now. So pre-owned or new, their lots are full. 5 great locations. You can check out all their vehicles, pre-owned or new, at Heiser.com. But here's the great part, and they are terrific at customer service, by the way. No hidden market adjustment fees, honest pricing, always pricing under MSRP. All their great programs, safe and sound, vehicle exchange, roadside assistance for life. I could go on and on and on. Visit Heiser.com for all the details. Lots of inventory, always terrific customer service. That's what they're known for. That's why they say every day, today's your day. Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Omaha Steaks. It's that time of year. Fall is in the air, and that means we're looking forward to crisp mornings, falling leaves, and sweater weather. But more importantly, it's the perfect time for fall grilling, tailgating, and cozy comfort food. Omaha Steaks has all your fall cravings covered with 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. That's 50% of all your favorite tender, juicy, extra-aged steaks, like their butcher's cut filet mignons. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Use promo code WTMJ at checkout. Get an extra $30 off your order. The possibilities are endless with Omaha Steaks. Endless flavor, endless value, incredible entrees, scrumptious sides, decadent desserts, and so much more. All 50% off during the semi-annual sale. Every bite's backed by their 100% unconditional guarantee. Go to omahasteaks.com, shop all your delicious favorites for half the price. Enter promo code WTMJ at checkout for an extra $30 off. Hurry, this sale is for a limited time. Minimum order may be required.
WTMJ Now.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's Hump Day with Andy Schwartz, Public Safety Hour. As I always say, law enforcement, public safety, because we cover all the areas of public safety on this show and with our program. And Andy Schwartz joining us in studio, as she always does. So a couple things about this press release, this statement from many of the members of the Milwaukee Common Council. I don't know if it's everybody. Is anyone missing off? I think there are some.
Yeah, there are 2 missing.
Yeah.
And I don't have the list in front of me. A little surprised to see Mark Borkowski on there. I didn't really expect that. He's been very helpful to the police. You know, Steve, it's not a question about how do we feel about the verdict one way or the other. This isn't about that was, how dare the council do that. This is about this body of elected officials deciding which cases they're going to weigh in on at their level. And do they not have anything else to do?
At a foundational level, though, if you're calling into question judgments of juries in Milwaukee, why do we have juries in Milwaukee and justice in Milwaukee if you're just going to weigh in with your opinion? And that's the specific thing I want to point out. The last line, our hearts go out to the Acevedo family, who must now turn to a civil court for justice in the case. Your jobs as common council members is not to direct the family on what their next course of action is.
Or to scold the jury of 12 people that are selected by the system that they are a part of. This is the system
regular
that
Milwaukee County folks who are just trying to do their civic duty. And you just blew them up in a press release. You don't need to do that. You have enough other work you can focus on. And I'm sick and tired of seeing this kind of thing on the decisions you don't like.
Yeah, but for the fact that Michael Mattioli was a police officer, I don't think they're getting out there and they're talking about anything else. Now, I would love for them to prove me wrong or prove us wrong. And the next time that there is a verdict of guilty against someone who has, battered or shot, harmed a police officer, I'd love to see a statement like this that says, "Thank goodness we've got a justice system that stands up for our law enforcement who work day in, day out to keep us safe." But I know I'm not going to see that.
I'll make it even simpler. How about a letter of praise every once in a while for a job well done by a member of the public safety community? When's that press release coming out? Because when you do things like this that are one-sided, usually, the public can sit here, the ones that pay the bills, and say, you know what? Is this really what you're supposed to be spending your time on? Is this really the best use of your time? And should you now start weighing on every case that comes before a jury in Milwaukee County? Is that your role now, to be the ultimate judge? No one's asking for that.
And I hope that my gut reaction when I first saw this is not true, which was it was another chance to take a whack at the police department. And I hope that that's not what this was, because there are plenty of cases where we have white males who are accused or even charged with homicide involving a person of color, and I don't see a statement like this. So, and I know that this case has gotten a lot of attention. I do. But I also look at all the names on this thing. There are two that are missing. Gosh, I wish I can't remember.
I'll try to do a comparison of the total list and the list that signed on to this release during the next break, but there are a couple missing.
There are a couple missing. I mean, some of these older people are lawyers. Malala Cox is a lawyer. Is this... I didn't go to law school, but I spent a lot of time working with attorneys, and I don't think that coming out and decrying the verdict of 12 people is the way to go. You can be upset with the verdict, but again, there's a difference between being upset with the verdict and putting out a statement on behalf of all the people. And I think I'm looking to see here if my alderman is in there. Yeah, my alderman is in there. That's not speaking for me. You're not speaking for me when you get up there and you say we decry this.
I asked you this question before the break, and I ask it in all seriousness. Is this part of the unfortunate legacy of the George Floyd case?
I think that it is, when I do training for law enforcement, one of the things that I talk about very often is the fact that there are often different eras in policing. There's the post-9/11 era of policing. There is the post-Ferguson, Missouri era of policing. There is something that I believe is the post-George Floyd era of policing since May 25th of 2020, which is do not believe the police. Always assume the police are doing something wrong. Always assume that we have to question whatever the police do. And it's okay to question law enforcement. It is. But this takes it to a level that I've not seen before.
And not to make it political, but I'm going to. As much as conservatives have been blamed for attacking treasured institutions of this country, Department of Justice, FBI, CIA, all that stuff in the context of politics, if we're going to now have liberal electeds in Milwaukee question our justice system, what faith do any of us have that this is the way that civilized societies conduct themselves? I don't understand what the end game here is. If you're going to blow up everything, we don't have a civilized society anymore, and it's chaos.
Here's the question. So we are having, as everybody knows, we are having an issue with recruiting for this police department.
And retention.
Hey, please come and work for this common council. It'll be great. And I think that's an issue. Again, I don't want people to hear, at least for my part, I don't want people to hear me say it was a bad verdict, it was a good verdict. It's not. It is the verdict.
It's what those 12 jurists
people
decided with the evidence that was presented to them.
Yeah,
that's not complicated. And if we're going to question every verdict, we've got a bigger problem. This goes back to what happened with the last chief, right? So we had a Milwaukee Common Council that's weighing in on the performance of the police chief, often with no knowledge of what actually is done in the day-to-day life of a police chief or the police department or public safety for that matter. But they're experts now on that as well.
Well, and if you look at this list like I just did, and I said my alderman's on there, people should take a look. And if they are, I guess that's the question, isn't it? I mean, this is why we have an elected person to represent us. Hey, what was with that statement? You see, you signed on to it. What is your reasoning for signing on to that?
Now, I can tell you on the text line, I got a lot of texts that say, I agree with Andy Schwartz, could not believe what I was reading. As a Milwaukee resident, I'm appalled at our elected leadership. This is not leadership. Annie's always great to hear your voice. This is a disagreement. I respectfully disagree with you. Mm-hmm. This is an off-duty police officer. Where's the criticism of his behavior? And aren't our elected officials responsible for events like this to comment? I don't agree with the second point. No. They can't comment on every verdict. No. That should not be what happens.
But they are. But non-response is a response. Silence is a response. So when there is a verdict where we're convicting someone, I keep going back to this idea of people that we do get charged for, and sometimes convicted for doing harm to a law enforcement officer. I would like to see our common council say, bravo. It shouldn't just be the police union that sends out something and says, hey, the person that shot and seriously wounded our officer is going to prison. Yay. It shouldn't just be our police union. And if you'll notice, the police union really didn't put anything out on this because they would say 12 people decided. Mm-hmm. It was a verdict that was decided by the public. And by the way, this is a former police officer.
Yes. Fantastic point. All right, we'll take a break. After the break, a special guest will join us from the city of Waukesha, Police Chief of Waukesha, talking about the 2-year marker of the parade tragedy, a Christmas parade, sadly. We'll do that after this with Andy Schwartz on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Imagine having a leaf represent your entire nation on your flag. Might as well be a leaf. It's definitely not going to be a basketball.
Goodness gracious!
It's the Bucks taking on those Raptors from Toronto. Our Bucks Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6. We are the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Small business owners can make a little of anything go a long way.
It's true. My bakery is made up of a little sugar, spice, and edible glitter.
Well, that's why U.S. Cellular is offering small businesses lines for as little as $19.99, plus $300 off any phone.
That's great. A little does go a long way. Unless we're talking sprinkles, everyone always needs more sprinkles.
Oh, of course. Get lines for $19.99 plus $300 off any phone today. U.S. Cellular. Built for business. Built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
You wanted them, you got them. Even more Black Friday Now deals at Fleet Farm. Save on delicious Bear Creek soup mixes, 3 for $9. Plus, take 20% off all Lego sets. Spend $100 on Under Armour, get a $30 Fleet Farm gift card free. And stock up on nut and berry bird food, 20 pounds for just $24.99. Shop Black Friday Now at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Walker Media Agency. Your website, it's the digital front door to your business. How's it look? How's it working for you? If you hesitate to answer either of those questions, you need to connect with my friend Matt Walker and Walker Media Agency. Beginning with a website overhaul, Walker Media Agency provides comprehensive marketing and advertising solutions. Start a relationship with Matt and his team at Walker Media Agency. Find them at walkerwtmj.com or text the word Walker to 855-616-1620.
Set your independence in motion. It starts with PACE at Community Care. The program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, also known as PACE, offers complete medical and long-term care services. A team of dedicated healthcare professionals coordinates all aspects of care to support independent living as long as possible. Learn more about a community that cares. Visit joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE. That's joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE.
It's WTMJ Now.
Andy Schwartz joining me on Wednesdays. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are Always thrilled we have a special guest, and today is no different. From the city of Waukesha, Police Chief Dan Thompson, 2 years Tuesday from the parade tragedy, and we're going to talk about that from the perspective of the personnel recovering from the aftermath of all that, emotional trauma. We're joined by Waukesha's Police Chief on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline, Dan Thompson. Welcome. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning, Chief. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very good, very blessed. Thank you again.
I always like that you respond that way, because one of the things I remember about being in that room with you that day was that one of the more controversial things, I think, that we did that you hadn't really seen before was starting a news conference with a prayer. And I know you felt very strongly about that, and that was something that we needed to do to bring the community together. How is the community coming together? How are your first responders doing? Everybody that was there, what is happening as far as the wellness of the people that were involved in the efforts that day?
Well, first of all, I want to start by recognizing the 6 individuals that passed as a result of that Christmas parade attack. Virginia Sorensen was 79, Leanna Owen was 71, Tamara Durand was 52, Jane Kulich was 52, Wilhelm Hospital was 81, Jackson Sparks was young age of 8. There's other 67 that were injured. And what we're talking about is not just the physical injuries, but we're also talking about the moral injury that occurred, not just with the public, but also with our first responders that responded to that. And the answer to your question is, how are we doing? I'm very proud of the resiliency of this community. I'm very proud of the resiliency of our first responders. But that doesn't mean that we're still not hurt. We're still not affected by it. But what we're doing is that incident is not defining us. What it did is demonstrate the character and refines our resiliency and strength on not letting that incident bring us down, but actually bring us closer together. Go ahead.
And Chief, as somebody who dealt from a mayoral perspective with a mass shooting, not to compare the things, but the way that you respond, and I love the fact that you're looking at it that way. It's not the days and weeks, it's the years after that. And you can speak from the citizens, the community's perspective, but also the individuals, the public safety individuals who responded then and continue to interact with the community. So what are some of the specific things that you utilize as a chief or the community utilizes to sort of figure the rest out, to try to make sense of a very tragic situation?
Yeah, I want to attack that on multiple levels. One is I want to attack from the community first responder level. But then you mentioned as a chief, I do want to address that as me as an individual, as a human being as well. So the first part is how we did address it is for the first responders, we have what's called First Responder Psychological Services. And as a result of that parade incident, we have what's required a neck-up checkup with our officers. And at one point, there was a stigma that you don't go talk to professionals, but that has changed. Our parade has actually changed that. For the community, we have what's called the United for Waukesha Resiliency Center. It's off of Pewaukee Road in Waukesha, and that center's fully operational now, and that's for our community as well, for them to help them continue to heal, because the healing is not stopped. And we have some amazing heroes who continue to be engaged with our community, both from a first responder level and community members and actual families of the victims who demonstrate just amazing courage and helping others, helping them cope through this tragedy as well.
And the individuals, the public safety responders, what are they thinking about 2 years later?
I'll tell you something. So one, from a practical point of view, is things that they thought, like things that they get upset about between each other and things that they thought were big deals. After that parade, they put things in perspective, like, nope, we're good. We'll get through this. After 2 years, I'm very proud of how strong the community and our police officers are. But one thing I wanted to touch on, which I forgot about, was, and the last part, as you mentioned about the chief, myself, and how this moral injury, how it affected me. And what I know in this position, there's a weight, being a leader of community, being a leader of a police department organization. There's a weight that comes with that. And I'm speaking to all chiefs and sheriffs in the country. We are very good at helping others. We're not good at helping ourselves. And as a result of that parade, working with the law enforcement duty response team, who has a peer support component as well, we created a executive peer support for supervisors where they are trained in working together to assist other leaders in law enforcement and in dealing with trauma, dealing with things that affect their ability to perform. So there's positive things, many, many positive examples I can tell you that glean from that parade incident. But to answer your question, 2 years later, we are a stronger police department. We are a stronger community today than we were yesterday.
You know, Chief, this is a bit of a personal question, but we interview and we speak with a lot of chiefs, fire chiefs, police chiefs here during our public safety hour. But I'm curious now. If I remember correctly, I'm a lot older than you are, but I believe that you did work with the with elements of the Sikh temple shooting and the Azana Spa incidents when you were part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Am I right about that?
That is correct.
That's what I thought.
With the spa, not the spa, but I'll start with the Sikh temple. So I happened to be at church, and for some reason, on that day, and that's why I think God was intervening, my wife and I, we decided to take two cars. There's no other reason for it. I remember getting a text on my phone within 30 minutes, because I was also on the bomb squad, Milwaukee Bomb Squad, and Joint Terrorism Task Force. Within 30 minutes, I responded to that incident. And that was very traumatic and impactful as well. And then there's also a main component on the spot. Actually, I'm more on the suspect's residence side of the house of that investigation as well. And at the Miller Coors, I was just a few minutes away from that incident. All those are very tragic and traumatic. And I don't like to compare, but that seeing 7 blocks of just mass casualties was just incredible. It was just a different type of evil.
How?
Go ahead.
No, please continue.
It was just a different type of evil. But in all those instances, and specifically the Christmas parade, in the worst, I saw the best in the community. I saw the best in the first responders. I saw the best in off-duty detectives, nurses, doctors, and I saw the best in our health in hospitals and how they responded to this and how well they all came together. It was just an amazing experience.
Waukesha Police Chief Dan Thompson joining us on WTMJ now. We're going to take a break, Chief. Ask you to hang on, and Annie and I have a bunch of other questions as we mark 2 years next Tuesday from the Waukesha Parade tragedy with the Chief of Police in Waukesha. More after this.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Old National Bank.
I just got your home equity loan, and this feeling of joy and exhilaration overcame me.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon we call getting old.
Wow, so I'm not the only one?
No, small business owners feel it with expansion loans. Families feel it when they're setting up trusts and 529s. Nonprofits who need financing to help the community. And anyone who needs investment advice, they all feel it.
So it's not just me?
No, you're in a pretty big club.
Like a club I can join?
I really don't.
Is there at least a secret handshake?
Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National. Get old. Member FDIC.
Hey, I know what it's like. Your knees hurt, your hip doesn't feel right, your back hurts as soon as you take that first step after waking up. Well, don't let it sideline you any longer. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Call QC Kinetics now. It's the future of pain relief. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. They restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and they do it the natural way. It's the science of using properties from your own body to bring you that lasting relief that you're looking for with no drugs and no downtime, with advanced protocols that can get you moving again. And that's what you want to be doing. Well, get started now so you can live big in 2024. Talk about a great use of your FSA and HSA. QC Kinetics offers advanced regenerative treatments, and folks are getting amazing results. Call QC Kinetics. A free consultation awaits. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing, toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories, bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores, Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ Now.
Very special guest on the Public Safety Hour with Annie Schwartz, the Chief of Police, City of Waukesha, Dan Thompson. And Chief, I had forgotten the fact that you were actually a responder to those earlier incidents. And I guess my first question is, those were incidents you responded to as one of many, but when the incident comes home to your city, where you have jurisdiction, where you're in charge, how does that previous experience shape your thoughts and your actions?
Well, I'm going to answer it this way, and it goes back to my words. I was blessed and honored to serve the City of Milwaukee Police Department for 29 years and got to experience many different aspects of policing, neighborhood engagement, and problem solving. When I retired from Milwaukee, I retired for 2 weeks, drove my wife nuts, and started on May 4th of 2020 in the city of Waukesha. Great police department. But what I didn't know, what I know now, is God knew all those experiences from Milwaukee was going to be used, and I was going to be instrument to be part of such a great team in this police department and fire department in the community on that worst day. That's the only way in my mind I can make sense of it, is God knew that this was going to happen, and He intended for me to be there with this awesome team, this awesome community, and not only surviving from that tragedy, but thriving. This community is thriving, and it takes a village. And if you want to see an example of great partnership between community and law enforcement, the City of Waukesha is a great example. Because we're in this together. It's not the us and them. It's us.
That's got to be so heartening as a chief to hear that, because it's not exactly the salad days for law enforcement right now these days. And to be able to come together with your community, really as in not only chief of police, but as kind of comforter in chief, that has to help you with your own grief and your own trauma over this incident.
It does. And always remembering your why. I know when I came in this profession, I was doing something that was greater than myself. I knew that this was a servant profession. And I can honestly tell you, is this profession is a calling. This is not one of those you can come in and do it half-assed. But what's helped me with my trauma is my faith, my family, the support network, and the team that I have here in the Waukesha Police Department, and other fellow colleagues. But the bottom line is being vulnerable and saying it's okay not to feel your best, and it's okay to show that you're not at your best at every moment, that you are a human being. Those are important things.
Chief, I'd like you to expand on that a little bit, because you and I have mutual friends that we have that we know that have taken the route they've chosen suicide. They have chosen to stop. And I guess I'm wondering, how can you, as a police chief and as someone who is as experienced as you are in law enforcement, 29 years just at MPD alone, how do you convince officers who come from the kind of that suck it up buttercup mentality? How do you convince them to seek help?
I'll give you a good example. I'll tell you a quick story. With myself. This is in the early 2000s, working special operation at Haida, and I never took off work. I decided to take off work this one day, and my supervisor tells me you need to find a replacement. Well, that replacement happened to be Jay Balchunas. He told me, I got your back, go ahead and take off. That evening he goes, gets shot. 5 days later he passes away from that shooting. Well, if I would have worked, he would still be here, right? And I knew I wasn't right. So I went to a peer support person at the time, and that person told me, suck it up, basically, you're fine. Well, I go to, I meet his mother at the visiting at Jay's funeral, and she basically told me he was honored to take that shift from you. You don't take it away from him. And that was the first beginnings of me realizing, like, hey, we are human beings, and there's more to this profession than sucking it up. Now, fast forward to where we are now, we realize the importance of post-traumatic stress, moral injury, and then educating and talking to our supervisors and all of our officers within the department that we are human beings. We do have feelings. It's about relationships. And not being afraid to talk to professionals about how we feel and how things impact us, because that is important. Because here's the thing is, this relationships get us through, but that's what helps us build a foundation of resiliency. And resiliency is everything. Resiliency is saying, you know what, I just got hit with something very traumatic, but I can not only actually just survive it, but I can actually use this to be a stronger person and thrive from it. That doesn't mean you don't forget it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't still hurt. What it does mean is you're taking that and you're turning it into something positive, and you're using that energy to help others as well.
Chief, I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing that story, because Annie and I were not aware of that. And there's a couple of things. One, leadership is on full display as you were talking. And two, understanding that stress is a part of that job, probably that job more than most jobs, and that you can actually deal with some of these things after the incidents that make you better at your jobs, better at public safety, better community members. So I want to thank you for taking the time. It was a nice kind of a follow-up to what we talked about last week with officer wellness, but there's chief wellness too, and I think you're one of the leading voices on this. So I want to thank you for taking the time to share that with our audience.
And honored to, and I'd be more than happy to talk more about this anytime you want me to. Absolutely.
Chief Dan Thompson, City of Waukesha, they have their 2-year remembrance coming up next Tuesday. I still remember driving home from Deer Camp on that Sunday night 2 years ago, and I know the folks in Waukesha very well. I know the mayor very well, Sean Riley, and I know that the citizens of Waukesha will be united and strong, as they always are.
And Chief, thank you so much for sharing that story. As I say, I know you a long time. I know you many, many years, and I did not know that story, and how incredibly grateful I am that you shared that with our listeners, because people are often going through a fight nobody knows anything about. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Honored.
Yep. Chief Dan Thompson, City of Waukesha. We'll take a quick break here. We'll wrap it up with Annie Schwartz, our Public Safety Hour right here on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Home is where the heart is. Family meals, laughter, and warm memories. As your local contractor that's been around for 40 years, J&J Contractors has been helping families create new memories for generations to come by reimagining your kitchen space for baking holiday cookies with the family, or opening up your lower level for friend and neighbor entertainment. Whatever the project is, J&J Contractors does it with top-of-the-line craftsmanship. Just Google J&J Contractors to see their reviews for impeccable work and outstanding communication.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
The holiday season is a magical time of year to visit Lake Geneva. Embark on an enchanting Santa cruise on the lake. Take in a parade of trees and marvel at the world's tallest glass tree, built before your very eyes. Enjoy holiday shopping in a historic downtown. Chill out with festive food and libations in an igloo under the stars. Or find adventure on a zipline, ski hill, or snow-covered nature trail. Make Lake Geneva your place for holiday fun this year. Check out visitlakegeneva.com today for all the festive details.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you want to upgrade and transform your current bathroom space, I've got you covered. It's Sidex. Sidex just did the work in our house, took out the old bathtub, put in a beautiful walk-in shower. It is stunning. The process streamlined and efficient. Sidex is the company I trust. Sidex is the company doing the work in our bathroom and our house. My wife is so happy. They have changed our bathroom space. It's incredible. Joe, living the legacy of his dad, Sanford. It's incredible. They're family-owned since 1988. Free shower door upgrade when you mention John Mercure. Sidex. Check out the guys I trust at Sidex.
Steinhafels is your sleep solution destination. Right now, you can get a Beautyrest Black mattress and pay just $44 per month when you use Steinhafels 72-month financing. Plus, you'll get $300 in Steinhafels cash. Shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com.
According to the U.S. debt clock, our debt is over $32 trillion and climbing. The question is, how do we pay it off? One of the most likely answers is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? At Drake & Associates, we can help you create a plan so your retirement is tax efficient as possible. If you'd like to continue your education, we have our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides on retirement tax savings. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call or text now.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
It's WTMJ Now.
Annie Schwartz joining me on the Public Safety Hour here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock hour on WTMJ Now. And lots of nice comments coming in the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, include this one. Awesome segment. Steve and Annie, time to wipe away the tears. God bless the Chief and all of them, all of the guys. It's not just guys, men and women. Incredible story. Doesn't surprise me given what the Chief, Dan Thompson in Waukesha, has seen in his career. And some of the stories he was laying out, he caught us both off guard with that last one.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Steve, I'm having a little bit of a hard time over here. I really am.
Yeah.
And one of the texts I got from one of the law enforcement people that listens, he said, and this is a cop that I worked with for years, decades, and he said, I totally choked up when he said that. That story hits law enforcement officers hard. So people always ask me, why are you so pro-police? Why do you always get out in front of their stories? And Dan Thompson is the reason I want to see stories about police officers, because we're at a crisis for recruiting and retention. We want people to come do this job. And, we expect so much out of our police
We expect
officers.
perfection.
We do. And look what happens when they are any less than perfect. You don't get the do-over. I'm so touched by that story. I can't even tell you, because in what other job, in what other world is that something you think about, or that you have to carry with you? The stories that these officers carry with them for years are the reason that they look at trauma every single day.
Yeah, and just to button this up, the folks, like we talked about earlier in this hour, that want to constantly attack and question, it's often with no information, no experience, the jobs the public safety professionals do every day. I just don't have any time for that because this is a very, very difficult job. And the absence of those individuals is chaos. And I think we all know what that looks like. We see it every day on the streets of America. Annie Schwartz, fantastic as always. And to Chief Dan Thompson, keep doing the great work. And we will all be thinking about you next Tuesday as we do every day here on WTMJ Now. Quick break for news. Lots more to get to, including a fight in Congress almost. We'll get to that and more after this on WTMJ.
WTMJ Now. Had a rough week? Not to worry. Relax and join Jeff Wagner every Friday at 2:35 for Pop Culture Corner. Brought to you by Palermo's Pizza. Come tell us the best of the best in pop culture, and you could win a prize package from Palermo's.
What is, in your opinion, the most memorable TV character of all time? Your one album, your favorite album of all time.
It's Wagner's Pop Culture Corner. Fridays at 2:35 on WTMJ.
You wanted them? You got them. Even more Black Friday Now deals at Fleet Farm. Save on delicious Bear Creek soup mixes, 3 for $9. Plus, take 20% off all Lego sets. Spend $100 on Under Armour, get a $30 Fleet Farm gift card free. And stock up on nut and berry bird food, 20 pounds for just $24.99. Shop Black Friday Now at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
This Thanksgiving, hit the road with confidence thanks to Griffin's special offer. For just $179.95, we'll change your oil, inspect and rotate your tires, replace the air filter and wiper blades, give your car a complete multi-point inspection, check the battery, and make sure your heat is toasty warm for those chilly Thanksgiving travels. Don't let car trouble spoil your holiday plans. Visit Griffin for details and restrictions. Happy Thanksgiving from our family to yours.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Hey, Sandy Max here. Have you heard about my friends at Three Pillars? They're located on 300 gorgeous nature-soaked acres in Dousman, with over 10 miles of walking and biking trails crisscrossing the Bark River. This serene setting is also home to Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community. Continuing care means every facet: independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and rehab. So whatever you need, Three Pillars is the best, and you deserve the best in your retirement. Learn more at threepillars.org.
Set your independence in motion. It starts with PACE at Community Care. The program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, also known as PACE, offers complete medical and long-term care services. A team of dedicated healthcare professionals coordinates all aspects of care to support independent living as long as possible. Learn more about a community that cares. Visit joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE. That's joinpacewi.com or call 833-900-PACE.
We all want a healthy, thriving community, and we all thrive when we share our time, talent, treasure, and ties. The Greater Milwaukee Foundation is partnering with the community through the Greater Together campaign. Join the foundation in this campaign to advance racial equity through investments in housing, early childhood education, and more. Make an impact today and for generations to come at GreaterMilwaukeeFoundation.org/campaign. Together, we can build a Milwaukee for all.
It's David Nason from WTMJ's The Fix-It Show, here with Chris Mancuso, owner of Accurate Basement Repair. Hi, Chris.
Hey, David. Courage, honor, and integrity. That is what I brought over to Accurate Basement Repair Team following my 25 years of proud service as a Milwaukee firefighter. This is the same foundation that Accurate is built on.
As a home inspector, I trust Accurate Basement Repair for all your basement and waterproofing needs. They're not just good, they're accurate. Learn more at AccurateBasementRepair.com.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Sure, raptors sound scary, until you remember they're just giant chickens. The Bucks are back in Canada with coverage starting tonight at 6.
Giannis weaving his way back and forth all the way to the cup on the other side. Lays it in with that same left hand.
On your home of the Milwaukee Bucks, News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 10:02, it is 54 degrees, sunny and mild today, a high of 65 from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Eric Bilstead. Checking the roads quickly, 43 northbound, still slow near Hampton Avenue. They've been dealing with this car fire for a bit now, more than an hour now dealing with that. So the right lane is blocked, and of course we have the construction there as well. So you are crawling heading north, 2 lanes open now heading north on 43 right around Hampton, so be prepared for that. You'll get through it, but it is going to slow you down some. It's been ebbing and flowing for the past hour or so. We'll get an update on all the roadways here coming up in just a couple of minutes. It's been now nearly 2 years since the Waukesha Christmas Parade attack.
It was just a different type of evil.
Police Chief Dan Thompson says on Tuesday, of course, they will mark those who were killed and remember those who were killed and those injured. 6 killed, dozens of were injured when Darrell Brooks drove through the festivities, again, nearly 2 years ago next Tuesday. Thompson on WTMJ Now.
I saw the best in the community. I saw the best in the first responders. I saw the best in off-duty detectives, nurses, doctors.
Darrell Brooks now spending life in prison for that incident and attack. Governor Evers says he's looking forward to putting pen to paper on an agreement to fund improvements to American Family Field while also keeping the Brewers in Milwaukee till at least 2050. Took a bipartisan vote in the Senate for approval of that bill to send it back to the Assembly. 8 Democrats in the Senate voted yes in that 19-14 vote.
One of those no votes, Senator Tim Carpenter of Milwaukee. He tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
If we would have done an audit beforehand and the Brewers would have kicked in, let's say, another $100 million, I could have seen my way of supporting the bill.
The Brewers are committing an extra $10 million with a ticket surcharge on non-sports events also added to the final bill. Still, Carpenter believes
taxpayers were forced into paying a lot more money than we should have.
The bill now heads to the governor, who is expected to sign it. Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
President Biden will be meeting with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in an effort to restart communication between the U.S. and Chinese military. The two leaders meeting in San Francisco haven't met in a year amid tensions between the two countries. ABC's Selena Wang says that Xi is trying to show the world that China is open for business.
He's dealing with a deep economic downturn at home with rising unemployment and a sharp slowdown in foreign investment. Now, President Biden's goal is to improve lines of communication. Xi Jinping shares that desire for stability, but beyond that, this one meeting will not resolve fundamental differences. Xi Jinping is an authoritarian leader with a fundamentally different worldview. I lived through those changes when I was based there. He's consolidated power in every facet of Chinese society.
The two meeting during the APEC summit in San Francisco, which brings together leaders from the Asia-Pacific region. Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 154 to 34,982. The Nasdaq up 81 to 14,177, and the S&P is up 23 to 45,19. It's time for the Annex Wealth Management Tax Smart Planning Review. They'll review, assess, and provide strategies you can use. Go to annexwealth.com/taxsmart. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Side and Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Stop into Ken Michaels Furniture for our sale on Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is an American icon in quality leather upholstery. Whether you're looking for power recliners or stationary seating, BY's Furniture is made with enduring quality, outstanding comfort, and timeless styling. Save 35% now on Bradington Young upholstery at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield and Greenfield. Visit us today.
Time now for a look at the roads. WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic trouble on 43 northbound. This right around Hampton. There's been a car fight that they've been dealing with. So the right lane is blocked. You're getting through it. The two left lanes, you'll squeeze through, but it's tight. Of course, we've got the road work through there too. So be prepared for some delays heading north on 43. Elsewhere looking okay. 94 eastbound Highway 16 all the way into downtown is looking good. 4145 south, Highway Q to the zoo. No problems there. And 94 northbound from Layton into the city. That's also on time.
Traffic is sponsored by Weisgerber's Golden Mast Inn, your place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com.
Make plans this Sunday to visit the Golden Mast for their all-you-can-eat champagne brunch. Enjoy fine dining from 10:30 until 2 at the Golden Mast. Call the Golden Mast and make reservations now.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, sunny and mild today. Should be a nice one. High of 65. Tonight, clear sky, low of 43. Thursday, more clouds, windy and warm. Tomorrow, a high of 65. Friday, rain early on, sunny in the afternoon, but it's going to be cooler, a high of 48. Saturday, sunny, high of 50. Sunday, sunny, a high of 48 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, 54. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to WTMJ Now. I am, as the big voice guy just said, Steve. And I guess I've been around for a while, and about 7 years on the radio. But when you see things happening in our halls of Congress, or in meetings, in the case of yesterday, sometimes in the halls, sometimes in the meeting places, where it suggests you're in a bar fight in the middle of a community like Rhinelander or Minocqua, or pick one of our great northern cities in this state, I guess I have to question some of the things that are going on. What am I talking about? So 2 different incidents on display this week in Washington, D.C. Nothing to do really with the issues. One of them had to do with a Senate hearing where Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen and a Teamsters boss who was showing up to offer testimony basically had a little bit of a throwdown, verbal throwdown, although it almost escalated. Here's what it sounded like.
Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, any time, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be 2 consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution, everybody?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond?
Mr. Hold it. If we can, no, I have the mic.
Said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like it worse. thugs and bullies.
I don't like you, because you just described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic. Yeah. You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you, and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet
No, I didn't go quiet. You challenged me to a cage match, acting like a 12-year-old schoolyard bully.
Excuse me. Hold it. No, excuse me.
I will say exactly.
Senator Mullen, I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that say, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not talking about. Of course, I did.
And let me show you his hearing because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not point to me? That's disrespectful.
I don't care about respecting you at all.
I don't respect you at all.
So
all right, hold it. No.
You're one of the most elite people.
Please.
Act it.
Please. All right. This is excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right. If you have questions for Mr. O'Brien or anybody else on what he has said, go for it. But we're not here to talk about fights.
Or Fight Club or any other nonsense associated with this story. So a couple things. Who would have thought Bernie Sanders would be the calm voice in the room? We have a U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, the Teamsters president, acting like they're on a playground. Talking about respect. You don't respect the job you have. You don't respect the halls that you're in. And I don't know about the rest of you, but this is not the government I'm asking for. I don't want this kind of stuff. I don't care if you're a former MMA fighter. Who cares? And frankly, in the violent world we live in now, whether you're an MMA fighter, doesn't matter because someone can literally terminate your life in an instant with a gun. But when you escalate this kind of rhetoric, this is the world that a lot of us fear is going to happen in reality because you can't control yourself. Now, neither one of these two gentlemen are innocent. The Teamsters president was taunting the other individual, the senator, on social media, which, if you've been on social media, you realize is what happens every damn day in this country. While this story's going on, in the House, Representative Burkett alleging that former Speaker Kevin McCarthy elbowed him in the kidneys because he's mad about something. It's like, grow up. What are you doing here? And if somebody tells me one more time that they like the fact that so-and-so is a bully and tough, this is what we're going to get. We're going to have brawls in the Senate hearings. We're going to have brawls in the House. That's not leadership, folks. It doesn't even pass muster as how someone should conduct themselves. And frankly, the senator from Oklahoma, the Teamsters president, should both be embarrassed. And as I said in my show poll, you can find it on the X. I got to get to break here. He's got a big guest coming up next. Grow the hell up. Stop acting like idiots. My goodness. I would censure you both just for the immature actions on full display yesterday. And if you're somebody who cheerleads this nonsense, what's wrong with you? After the break, talking some deer hunting. Gun deer season starts this Saturday. Special guest, Paul Smith, outdoors editor, Journal Sentinel. After this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
You can have the power of Jeff Wagner. My head is getting ready to explode. In the palm of your hands, whenever and wherever you want. Just look up The Jeff Wagner Show on Apple, Spotify, the WTMJ app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Because you keep voting the same people in over and over again. The same judges, the same district attorney, the same members of the Common Council, the same members of the county board, and nothing changes. And don't forget, you can still listen to me live from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online, qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
In business, everything your employees do impacts your brand, including what they wear. Cintas has high-performance workplace apparel for almost every job imaginable. From work shirts and pants, to polos and khakis, to Oxfords or T-shirts, these clothes move, breathe, and look great. Your team gets the styles they like, you convey the image you want. And Cintas service includes weekly laundry and delivery. To learn more, visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's WTMJ Now.
Hey, my name is Mike Strupp. I am a farmer from Slinger, Wisconsin, and my family, brothers, brother-in-laws, they're all big hunters. I roughly got about 7, 8 family members going out. Opening day, normally in a good year, we'll harvest roughly 16 deer. 5 of them are bucks, the rest are does. It's all family. You got a 450-acre farm here to hunt on, so we do very well with it. Being we live next to the state park, there's a lot of deer in this area to harvest, so we're looking forward to it again this year.
There you go. Thanks, Mike Strupp. He invited me out to his farm. I was out there in Slinger yesterday talking about a lot of things, including deer hunting, which is a great segue to my next guest, Paul Smith, outdoors editor from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, who joins us on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. Our annual conversation, Paul, welcome.
Hello, how are you? It's great to be back, and boy, was that wonderful to hear from Mike, the farmer there. That just is a wonderful part of the hunting tradition, and they get to do it on their farm. Fantastic.
Yeah, and they have some good hunting land, and he was sharing some of their stories. And I'm starting a new series called Wisconsin Hunter or Wisconsin Hunting. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I want to tell the stories because we're going to start this conversation, you and I, with a story that's been getting a lot of traction, a lot of coverage, is the fact that there may be a real decline in number of people participating in deer hunting. So let's start with that. What are you hearing and seeing?
Yeah, well, it's real, Steve. This is one of those things that you can measure very well. So there's no doubt about it. The facts show the license sales have been declining now since it peaked in 1999 at about 650,000 here in Wisconsin for the gun deer season. And the principal reason is we aren't getting enough new people into hunting. That's everybody across the board. But I'll take my own example here just to start. But I grew up in Racine County, and it was just natural for everybody to hunt where I grew up. It was something everybody did. And that's really not true anymore if you fast forward, to today. And we haven't been replacing hunters for everyone that retires. So there's this bulge in the hunting population, and the DNR has done a good job of highlighting this. The baby boom generation comprises the majority of our hunters, and so they are now aging. And last year, according to the DNR, the most common age of a gun deer license buyer was 60 years old. And then this year they expect it'll be 61. So that's a wave of license buyers that's just rolling toward an older age. And, things happen. People either lose interest or they have health problems. Some of them move away. Some people lose access to their hunting spots. There's a lot of reasons, but without replacing those hunters who it's a natural thing. At some point you're going to stop doing certain outdoor activities in your life. And while there's been good efforts to recruit new hunters and retain the current ones and reactivate, that's the 3 R's. It's recruit, retain, and reactivate. There's been good efforts there. They just haven't been enough to make up for the loss of the baby boomers who are getting out of hunting.
As you and I both know, there's a reason why we hunt, and one of the reasons is not just to get venison, it's too that we can control the population. Is there a threshold, a number, whether that's 600,000, 500, 400, whatever that is, that where we start to have some real problems with the deer population?
Yeah. Well, we're not controlling it now, Steve. In the southern part of Wisconsin, what they call the farmland units, the hunting seasons have not met the harvest goals for some time. So even with today's numbers, we're not doing it. So it's absolutely a concern as the number of hunters continues to decline. Things you could expect to see, things like more car vehicle collisions and more crop damage. But yes, it's certainly a concern. And that's one that the DNR is going to have to address.
One of the things that I've been talking about away from the show that I want to spend some time this current hunting season, gun deer season, and bow hunting season is the ability to harvest an animal and then donate the venison. Because I think that's an area that's ripe for a little more information, a little more ease of being able to do that. I think that's one of those potentials that the DNR and hunters should explore.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, there are programs out there, but it's not always the easiest thing to get involved with. I think it would probably take more financial backing for those programs, Steve. Because you almost have to provide an incentive for the hunter to do it. There are plenty of hunters out there who are good-natured about it and would be, think about just making the donation. It includes their time, their gas, to take the deer to a spot and contribute it. But you almost think to ramp it up and make it more widely available, it would take some financial backing to provide, let's just say, some incentive for the hunter to do that. Give them a gift certificate or something like that.
Yeah, I think, given the state has a surplus, maybe that a little carve out for a program like that could actually benefit people that are looking for venison, looking for meat on their table. I think that's something, especially in some of the rural areas and even the urban areas, where you can meet a need and also accomplish something that the DNR and the state has been trying to do, which is control that population.
It would be a win across the board. I agree 100%. And one of the things that's hurt those programs in the last 20 years is chronic wasting disease.
Right.
When that came on the scene, you had a new element added to it, and some of these meat processors and venison processors got out of it entirely. Also, there was this concern about the disease potentially being transferred to humans, which it has not been proven to do, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's an important point. But health professionals still recommend you get the deer tested before consuming the meat. In any case, if you're going to donate a deer and it's going to be given to a food pantry, it has to be tested for this disease. And so that adds some time and delay and cost to the whole process.
Paul Smith, outdoors editor of the Journal Sentinel, joining us as we get ready to start the gun deer season this Saturday across the great state of Wisconsin. One of the things that comes up whenever I talk about this is the extension of the gun deer season. Is that something that is realistic in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's been considered many times over the years. And I participated in a panel, for instance, I'm going to say, testing my memory now, but I'm going to say it was 15 years ago, and it was seriously considered. And one of the options that has been most talked about is making the gun season 16 days. It's currently 9 days, mm-hmm. So you would add a week, and it has not been popular. It hasn't got enough support to actually push it to to the point of making the change. Among the groups of hunters who don't really like that longer season are bow hunters.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that tension among different hunting groups. But at some point, if the deer population really starts to get larger and cause more problems, then something else is going to have to be implemented to try to increase the deer harvest. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's a math problem they have to figure out. Let's talk about conditions. It looks like it's going to be a little warmer this opening day than it was last year, with temperatures southern Wisconsin approaching 50 and probably in the 40s, maybe low 40s, halfway up, and then whatever it is at the top of the state. So different conditions this year versus last.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I hunted in Sauk County last year, and we had about 2 inches of snow. Beautiful conditions. It was cold, but that snow makes so much difference for seeing deer.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a big, big difference. This year, Monday I was in Vilas County, and there was no snow on the ground at all. And so then they're not expecting any to fall between now and Saturday. So it looks like most, if not all, of the state will be brown, and that makes things tougher for hunters. Temperatures will be mild, so if people want to stay out longer, that should help. I'm going to the Apostle Islands.
Wow, you're really going up there.
I'm going. This is a kid from Racine County talking. When I grew up, we hunted with you could only use shotguns. And we hunted on farms down in Racine County. We were lucky to see a deer track, and I would dream about going to places in northern Wisconsin. Well, this year, and I've been fortunate to do it plenty over the years, but this year I'm going someplace I've never been, and that is to Madeline Island. And I'm going to hunt with some friends in the Apostle Islands. Yeah. They don't have any snow, and it's supposed to be 40s on Saturday, I think. So it'll be plenty mild, and we'll see what we can do. But I'm hoping that people get out and enjoy themselves, be safe, and even if there's not snow on the ground, keep your eyes open, look for the deer, and if you get a good shot, make good on it.
Yeah, always appreciate the conversation. Let's regroup in a couple weeks after the season and kind of when you have the numbers, and we'll talk about what we accomplished this year as gun deer hunters. Always enjoy the conversation. Paul Smith, Outdoors Editor, Journal Sentinel. Safe and successful hunt to you.
Thank you, Steve. Right back at you.
Absolutely. Paul Smith, always a great guest on the program. After the break, we talk to him every third Wednesday of the month. I love these mayor to mayor. He's a county executive, but you get it. Josh Showman joins us from Washington County. I was in Washington County yesterday visiting Mike Strupp's farm, and we'll talk to him about all the exciting things happening in Washington County. Love the local stories. We'll do that after the break on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Your weekly Bucks Breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. When I tell you about my restless nights, I'm talking about the past. I did something about it. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, talked to two of their docs on my first visit, and they said, you know what? You don't have to put up with that. You don't have to toss and turn. You can sleep the whole night. I learned in 30 minutes, quick visit, that they could do something about it. And they found out my problem, sinuses and nasal passages, breathing triangle, commonly referred to as a breathing triangle. Didn't even know I had one, to be honest, before that. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well. My wife, Kathy, and I, sleeping through the whole night. That can be your story as well. Don't put up with restless nights, tossing and turning, excessive snoring. If you struggle like we did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
You wanted them, you got them. Even more Black Friday Now deals at Fleet Farm. Save on delicious Bear Creek soup mixes, 3 for $9. Plus, take 20% off all Lego sets. Spend $100 on Under Armour, get a $30 Fleet Farm gift card free. And stock up on nut and berry bird food, 20 pounds for just $24.99. Shop Black Friday now at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com. WTMJ Now.
Oh, thank you, producer Charlie. Always look forward to this conversation as well. It's part of my Mayor to Mayor series, but I know he's not a mayor. He's a county executive. You've never been a mayor, right?
Never been a mayor.
Did you have an elected position before you were county executive?
I was the school board president at Hartford Union High School.
Oh, Josh Shulman joining us as he does every third Wednesday of the month. And so we're just talking about deer hunting. I had Paul Smith on from the Journal Sentinel. I had a little clip from Mike Strupp, our conversation in your neck of the woods, Slinger, which is part of Washington County, I think the last time I checked, right?
Amen.
Yeah. Who said very nice things about you, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Because you never know when you ask the question, hey, do you know Josh Shulman? He was right on it. He goes, yeah, he's a guy he's involved in a lot of things.
Yeah.
I like to hear
Mike's
that.
a great guy, great farm, good family.
One of the cleanest farms I've ever been at. I said so, as soon as I walked in to the first barn, I go, this is amazingly organized and clean. 'Cause I've been on some farms that have not been that way.
Yeah.
So nice job, Strupp Farm out there in Slinger. And it's gorgeous out there.
And what's the hunting forecast?
It's going to be mild. So no snow across the state of Wisconsin. So are you a deer hunter?
I am.
Yeah, where do you
I'm
go?
like a unicorn. I'm a millennial and I'm a deer hunter.
That is an unusual combination, as we know, as Paul Smith talked about. So where do you hunt?
I hunt in Green Lake County.
Nice.
Yeah, Princeton.
Family land?
Friends land.
Friends
actually.
land, yeah.
Yes.
So when was the last time you were successful? Last year?
Yeah, last year I got a 10-pointer.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
All right, share that picture with me when you get a chance.
I will do that.
So you always share with me the stories of Washington County, which I appreciate. So you actually had a bit of a celebrity moments recently.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, super exciting. I probably am the only county executive in the country who is Emmy Award winner.
No, you don't know that. You're just saying that.
I said probably. I qualified it.
You did qualify it. So tell us how that happened.
Well, it's a kind of a crazy story. The Discover Media Works, which is Discover Wisconsin brand, they were going around the counties during the kind of the ARPA money when that was brand new, talking about doing big packages. And I suggested to our county partners, hey, let's work together and try to leverage economies of scale and get a new product and really try to lift people up, the story of people. You know, Discover Wisconsin is all about the places in Wisconsin.
Right.
And we ended up creating this new brand called Uniquely Wisconsin that's about the people. And one of the stories up in Marathon County, Athens, if you know where Athens is.
Yep.
Okay. Stony Creek Farms, I believe. They had a story about really agritourism and kind of the new age of what agribusiness is. They do pizzas and
farm to table,
and brewery, and they did a nice little segment on them, and we won an Emmy for it. And I'm a executive producer because it was part of.
So how did you get the executive producer title?
Well, the whole thing was kind of my fault or my idea, I guess, depends how you look at it.
You don't get to hold the Emmy, though. It's not on your display case or anything.
It's going to be on my display case.
Really?
I know. Can you believe this?
That is wild. You're the only person I know personally that has an Emmy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
did you go to the ceremony?
I did not go to the. It was Veterans Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, last Saturday. Yeah.
So I had two parades and I had all kinds of Veterans Day stuff.
And if somebody wants to find out, I think it's on YouTube, right? The video.
It is.
So
YouTube, Uniquely Wisconsin, Little Red Barn.
All right, and it's farm to table pizzas.
Yes.
And everybody in Wisconsin loves pizzas.
Yeah, they do the stone-fired pizzas, and they have their own
best.
brewery, and everything's organic there. It's really cool.
All right, this time of year we got to talk about the budget, right? So lots going on with communities across the states. They're trying to figure out what their budget looks like. You guys are unique. You do a biennial budget.
Yes, that's right. We do a biennial budget.
So talk about your process.
Yeah, it's consolidated once every 2 years, so which is nice because then the off year we're looking at programs and are they working or are they not working instead of just constantly looking at the numbers, which is just an input.
Has that always been the case there?
No, we started it. I think we were the first municipality or local government in the state, but this is our second. So 3 years ago we started it. Yeah, and so the process has been great. It's very intense where we're involved with the committee structure, and which has worked out well and resulted in unanimous approval. And, there's really 3 key priorities for us, and it starts the same way every time, but we follow through on those this time. And number 1, the taxpayers first. So we're cutting property tax levy by $250,000. That's tax collections, not just the tax rate. And then number 2, I've talked to you at length about our anti-crime plan. That referendum was voted down, so we came up with Plan B, which was...
For the folks who don't remember, what's Plan B?
Plan B was reprioritizing money throughout the county, basically eliminating other positions and taking other new revenues and putting it specifically towards funding the anti-crime plan. We're about halfway, 2/3 of the way now to funding the whole plan, and a lot of huge investments in public safety in this budget. And then the third piece, that is that shared services, major seven-figure investment in shared services, which will save municipalities money, free up tax levy for them, and over the long haul and really for years and decades to come.
This is what smart leaders have been talking about for a long time. Why duplicate other things when you can share those responsibilities and share the cost, reducing costs for the taxpayer? Are you surprised that, let me ask it this way. Do you get a good reception from your residents on these types of shared services?
We really do when we're able to finally execute them. And that's been the hard part for really the last decade. This has been a high priority for the county, for me personally, for a long time. And, it's changed. So there's a massive resistance, anything that relates to change. But now with the legislature shared revenue bill increases in shared revenue, they also created an innovation fund. And now that is incentivizing consolidation, shared services. And I think it's really changed the game, and I'm excited for that.
The issue of referenda, I have a conversation tomorrow about that. So a lot of communities looking at those kinds of ideas to fund different things that they typically couldn't fund or they are unable to fund. Do you learn something as a local leader from when something doesn't pass, it gets shot down by voters or it gets voted no? Do you learn something from the process?
I certainly did. I spent a lot of time knocking doors in November of last year for our anti-crime plan. And what I heard overwhelmingly was public safety is super important to us, but taxes are out of control from the lowest level to the highest level of government, and we just can't take it anymore. And over and over and over and over, I heard that. So yes, but I think what I've learned in watching multiple referendums and being part of a couple of them is when you don't learn is when you don't actually go to the voter and talk to them and you just look at results. Then you don't actually know what they're telling you. There's a million messages you could get out of a yes vote or a no vote. You got to actually talk to the people. And I think for the most part, that's the exception and not the rule.
Washington County Executive Josh Shulman joining us in studio as he does every third Wednesday of the month. Lots more to talk about, including we've been focusing in my public safety hour on Wednesdays on wellness, officer wellness. We talked about chief wellness today, which is a fantastic conversation with the chief of police in Waukesha. So local leaders also face those challenges, and you guys are doing some rather innovative things in Washington County on social isolation, loneliness. I want to talk about those things and how a local leader is looking at those issues from a leadership perspective and saying, you know what, we can do something about that. We'll continue that conversation with Josh Shulman after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
So I have been in the operating room most of my career, watching people have orthopedic surgery, watching people get knees replaced, hips replaced, shoulders fixed, and I knew there had to be a better way.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain relief.
I see so many people who could have been helped before they got to the operating room if only they had known about regenerative medicine.
QC Kinetics, a natural alternative that uses your body's own healing properties properties to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing long-lasting relief without drugs, surgery, or downtime.
Well, it feels great when I do get to see somebody who we help, who I know I kept out of the operating room. It's amazing how we change people's lives without surgery.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Is your home drafty and cold in the winter? Retrofoam of southeastern Wisconsin will fill your walls, lower your heating and cooling bills, and give you an airtight seal with their foam insulation. It's all done from the exterior of your home without any hassle or mess. Retrofoam offers a lifetime no-cost warranty with a property protection guarantee. They take pride in their customer service, treating all customers like family. Get 0% financing for 5 years if you call and mention WTMJ. Call today at 262-234-FOAM. That's 262-234-FOAM.
When big national banks make a decision, it requires many emails, phone calls, and plenty of video conferences from around the globe. When we make a banking decision, we do it over a cup of coffee in our office. Finding a local bank that's passionate about the community and knows your name is hard to find these days.
Good morning, Diane. Welcome back.
The search is over.
Waterstone Bank, proud to be your local bank for over 100 years. Love your bank as much as we love this community. Waterstone Bank, Waukesha, Milwaukee, and Washington County.
Member FDIC. It's WTMJ Now.
Never say no to the Stones on this Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Hump Day. In studio, as always, third Wednesday of the month from Washington County, County Executive Josh Showman. Still love your job, right?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
That's good. That's the right answer for that, because I've talked to so many leaders from every level of government, and sometimes they're less than enthusiastic about that response. And I think then you are doing the wrong job here, my friend.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, it's the people that really get me going and keep me motivated and help me to want to be reelected in April of 2024.
Yeah, the conversations. Yeah. I always tell people when I served for 5 years as mayor and longer than that as an elected, the conversations you have often with people that are vehemently disagreeing with you. But at the end of that conversation, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, you kind of shake hands and you kind of figure each other out and you essentially calm it in most, not always, but most situations. That's the vigor for me in those kinds of jobs. So I'm glad that you enjoy your work. Now, one of the things that local leaders do that I appreciate is tackling tough subjects. And this one is one of those tough ones, and we've talked about it from a lot of different ways. The issue of isolation, loneliness, and in this case, awareness of that. Talk about what you're doing.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're not aware as a society, generally speaking, about this. And I think post-COVID in particular, we really need to raise awareness. As a matter of fact, this week, November 12th to the 18th, is Social Isolation and Loneliness Awareness Week. So what a great time to talk about it. But really, it boils down to kind of how we managed COVID, and that is love your neighbor. I mean, reach out and talk to one another, help one another out. It's really what got us through that crisis in Washington County, and I think it's an important part of what makes society strong in America. And when we are alone, when we're isolated, when we're individualistic and independent to a fault, it actually creates crises for ourselves as individuals. And so we're humans. We're made to be social, and it's an important part of society, and it's an important part of life.
So one of the ways you're kind of tackling this is to looking at social media, which everybody uses, right? And I've tried to pull back a little bit, but using Facebook with tips to counter some of this. So what are some of the things you're talking about?
Yes, social media that is antisocial. So trying to actually get people to interact with one another and engage with one another. We're doing it on social media, certainly promoting tips and tricks for engaging in your hobbies, and not just by yourself, but engaging other people and learning and growing as an individual, helping people with transportation, get around places. There's a really fascinating book from the late 90s called Bowling Alone by an author named Robert Putnam, professor at Harvard. And he talks basically about how over time, people have just gotten more and more isolated by choice. And now we've got the baby boom generation coming into the fall, the autumn of their life, and that they will get more and more isolated if they don't make conscious decisions about being together with one another. And my generation, I mean, if you look at the statistics, it's bad. I mean, suicide is up demonstrably. We're seeing people turning to drugs and alcohol and all kinds of negative things. And it really is, it all stems from loneliness and isolation. And so I think doing the small things you don't even think about, like joining a bowling league or, being on the church council or ushering at church or joining the Rotary Club, even going to a coffee shop and striking up a conversation with a complete stranger. That stuff really matters.
One of the things that we did in Oak Creek and that I try to tell other leaders is the importance of civic events, free events, things that the public can come to, whether it's a fall fest or, something in the spring, something around Valentine's Day or, a spring, summer events, farmers markets. Those are little things that communities can do to kind of bring all of these different kinds of people, different jobs, different ages together in a common place. Do you have some of that stuff happening in Washington County?
Oh, we got all kinds of that stuff happening. And it's what's frustrating about it is the old 80-20 rule. Right? 20% of the people do 80% of the work. And a lot of those types of events struggle because if one person goes away, the whole thing falls apart. So I think it's just and then the community goes, wait a minute, what happened to that great event that we used to have? Well, the one person that did it isn't doing it anymore. So I think that's what's important about building social capital, like Robert Putnam always talked about, and it gives people the opportunity to engage with one another. We were really, really good at this as American society post-World War II. We had a lot in common. A lot of these associations started or really began to thrive back then. We've gotten very not good at it, and I think the politics of America reflect it. We're very polarized because of it, and there's so much we have in common. As you said, those stories, even when you disagree with somebody on an issue, anything from a right-of-way issue all the way to a new building, that the conversation is so important. The relationship and helping people, giving people space to create that, I think is super, super important.
Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman joining us in studio as he does every third Wednesday of the month. On the polarization issue, as somebody who's tapped into your community, your case, the county of Washington, what are folks saying about politics? What are they telling you? What are they talking about Wisconsin politics? I imagine budget surplus is on people's minds, what the state, the governor, the legislature is doing.
Well, it drives them nuts. I mean, I can tell you, people that I've known for years and years and years that are reasonable Republicans and reasonable Democrats are just exhausted. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to listen to it anymore. It's sad. And, Washington County is the reddest county in the state. And just to see people give up, it's terrible. Back in 2020, during the Biden-Trump race, I had an incident happen at my house or in my neighborhood. There was one Biden sign in the whole entire neighborhood. I mean, Washington County is 70% Republican.
Right.
And I drove by one day, and it's getting to be late October, and the sign's gone. And I'm like, boy, that's strange. So I think at the time my son was like 10 years old, and I said, hey, did you notice that sign's gone? And he kind of meekly is like, oh, yeah. I'm like, what do you know? He's like, well, nothing really, but the kids were laughing about it and this and that. And so I went to the county Democrat office, and I went and got a Biden sign, and I took my 10-year-old, and we knocked on the guy's door and said, here's a sign to replace the one. And he's like, what? Aren't you the county executive? I'm like, yeah. And you're a Republican, right? Yes. I'm like, but you have that right. Nobody should take that away from you. And I turned to my son as we were walking away, and I said, don't ever let anybody trample on that freedom of speech. I fought for it. Many of my fellow veterans fought for it. It's way more important than whose sign is in somebody's yard. And I think that small kind of example are the types of things that make all the difference in the world.
Well done. All right, we'll take a break. We'll continue the conversation. I want to ask you about election because we have a lot of elections coming up next year that are very important, including the presidential election in November. What your clerk, your election folks are doing to ramp up, get ready for that election. Lots of things to do, lots of conversation about elections, as you know, talking about the political discourse. We'll get to that and more with our guest, Josh Schoeman, after this on WTMJ Now.
WTMJ Now.
With all the positive Google reviews continuing to pour in for Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers, we want you to know we appreciate you.
You were due for service, we delivered, and then you went the extra mile and wrote a few kind words about the service you experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much. Michael, Glenn, Jeff, Lisa, Carol, Jason, John,
Wait,
Michelle,
hang on a
Ryan.
second, Dad. As fun as it may be to name every single person who's ever left us a Google review, there just isn't enough time. We get 60 seconds, and I'd say we've got about 28 left.
Ah, good point, Courtney.
Listen, we appreciate every last one of you for helping us maintain a nearly 5-star Google rating. And we're going to keep on shooting for the stars, especially when it comes to providing top-notch auto repair service.
Yep, and remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. Peter, Bruce, Samantha, Kimberly, Nick, Heather,
Oh,
Marissa,
Dad.
George, Jeremy, Diane, Brad, Paul.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Do you hear that hissing sound? I think it's the sound of some steam being let out of the fall housing market. As the average 30-year fixed rate has crept toward 8%, some buyers have taken a break. Homes aren't selling on the first weekend anymore. Some are still selling over asking, but fewer and by not as much. Some sellers are even willing to chip in toward buyer closing costs to get their asking price. Now, do you hear that knocking sound? That's opportunity. Opportunity for well-prepared home shoppers. This dip in home buyer demand is not going to last, and mortgage rates are forecast to dip next year. Here's the best part. AccuNet can show you how to use a seller closing cost credit to lower your monthly payment by $100 or maybe even $200 a month for the first year or two while we wait for the refi window of opportunity to open, which we can typically accomplish with no loan costs. It's your choice, fear or opportunity. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and become a confident, opportunistic, rock-solid home shopper. That's ACCUNET.com.
Siding Unlimited named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Stop into Ken Michaels Furniture for our sale on Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is an American icon in quality leather upholstery. Whether you're looking for power recliners or stationary seating, BY's Furniture is made with enduring quality, outstanding comfort, and timeless styling. Save 35% now on Bradington Young upholstery at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield and Greenfield. Visit us today.
WTMJ Now.
My guest, as always on Wednesdays, part of an initiative I'm trying to talk to as many local leaders as I can, because I think that's where the rubber meets the road, where the buck stops here, literally, right? We were talking about budgets earlier with Josh Schoen.
Oh, I thought that was a hunting reference.
Yeah, there you go. And that'll all start this Saturday for gun deer season in Wisconsin. So I want to talk a little bit about elections. You and I were talking during the break. I'm a big fan of the clerks and the poll workers. So there's a lot going on next year, obviously, for a presidential election. That always ramps up the anxiety, the attention, the workload. Yeah. In Washington County, how are you getting ready, or what are some of the challenges you're meeting?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, and major kudos to our county clerk, our municipal clerks, those poll workers. People don't realize it, but we were talking about this at the break. They work 16, 17, 18-hour days.
Yep.
They do amazing work. You know, and there's a number of things that the county has really been focused on. One of them is we've been doing and propose to do again in the future. Back in 2022, November, we did a hand count of the top two races, the gubernatorial race and the state Senate or the U.S. Senate race, just to verify things, because there's so much concern. And again, Washington County is the reddest county in the state, and there's extra concern because of all the politics surrounding it. But the results were fantastic. There was a 2-vote difference out of tens of thousands of votes.
Let me ask you this. If everyone did that, and it's very laborious and takes time and money, I'm guessing most of the other results would be the same, right, in Wisconsin?
I think our case proves that that's probably the case. And we got a lot of credit on both sides for taking the time and doing that process. And there's nothing political about getting that vote right. I mean, that we want to make sure that this happens all the time. And those poll workers, those clerks are doing that each and every day. The other thing I think is really important is we've got to get this purging of the voter rolls process cleaned up. It's a joke. It's been frustration for 15 years. I'm still the only clerk, I think, in the state of Wisconsin who's demanded that and had the voter roll purged on time. Nobody wants to have folks who don't actually live and maybe not even live.
What's the problem there, do you think?
It's bureaucracy from the highest levels. It's very hard. We have 1,800 municipalities. It's difficult to ask all of those 1,800 clerks on top of those 4 elections to also then go through a process of purging the voter rolls. That's a pain. So WEC just takes the responsibility on. That's not what the statute says. It's supposed to be the clerk's responsibility. So, but lots of positive things happening in that regard. And with 4 elections, people forget 4 elections is a lot. And we got lots of room for improvement, but also lots of positive happening.
Lots of positive things in Washington County. Always appreciate the conversation. We'll do it again next month.
Thanks for having me.
Josh Shulman, Washington County Executive. We'll get to the news and then ask Steve anything, any question for the remaining hour of the program, any question, fair game, politics, culture, sports, entertainment, gardening. I don't care. Deer hunting. You pick. I answer. That's next.
More of WTMJ now after this. Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I feel like I'm a smart person most of the time.
See the world from his perspective.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And in this case, I don't know if I'd say it was bliss, but I was definitely ignorant.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
I kind of went with the attitude of don't even have your phone with you. They can't call you, and they can't cut you.
Mark Tauscher on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by your Wisconsin Chevy dealers. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Omaha Steaks. It's that time of year. Fall is in the air, and that means we're looking forward to crisp mornings, falling leaves, and sweater weather. But more importantly, it's the perfect time for fall grilling, tailgating, and cozy comfort food. Omaha Steaks has all your fall cravings covered with 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. That's 50% of all your favorite tender, juicy, extra-aged steaks, like their butcher's cut filet mignons. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Use promo code WTMJ at checkout. Get an extra $30 off your order. The possibilities are endless with Omaha Steaks. Endless flavor, endless value, incredible entrees, scrumptious sides, decadent desserts, and so much more. All 50% off during the semi-annual sale. Every bite's backed by their 100% unconditional guarantee. Go to omahasteaks.com, shop all your delicious favorites for half the price. Enter promo code WTMJ at checkout for an extra $30 off. Hurry, this sale is for a limited time. Minimum order may be required.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAT Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had some special criteria when choosing a document imaging resource.
I think as a business owner, you're looking for a partner that when you need them, you know they're there and they can effectively communicate any sort of issue.
You chose your document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. How have they measured up?
They've checked all the boxes and then some.
And that included a great price on a color document imaging system from James, which is still today saving DBAT Brookfield time and money.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to outsource our color printing, which can be expensive, but we can do it right here on demand, and it's been incredible value.
Chris, any advice for local companies looking for a special document imaging technology partner?
Yeah, I would say go to James Imaging.
It's easy to do. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. That's jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
At Semper-Fi, we wholeheartedly believe that our reputation is everything. And around the office and work sites, I like to say that our reputation is like the little campfire we all huddle around for life. And every time we produce a project, we all have to take a little piece of that fire, and it's our responsibility to keep it going. Every time we keep a promise, it fuels the fire. Every time we deliver on an expectation, it fuels the fire. We started out as a mom-and-pop roofing shop, and the reputation we've built and our commitment to it has made us into the company we are today. I've found that people really value a company that truly cares about their reputation, and I know that it attracts the kind of like-minded individuals that we're proud to have on our team. At Semper Fi, we work hard not to tarnish our reputation, and that's what will make your decision to work with us one you won't regret. We're Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, and you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a good karma brand station. Sure, raptors sound scary until you remember they're just giant chickens. The Bucks are back in Canada with coverage starting tonight at 6.
Giannis weaving his way back and forth all the way to the cup on the other side. Lays it in with that same left hand.
On your home of the Milwaukee Bucks, News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 11:01, 59 degrees, sunny and mild today, a high of 65. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Breaking baseball news this morning. The Milwaukee Brewers making it official now. The team naming Pat Murphy the 20th manager in franchise history, signing Murphy to a 3-year contract, runs through the 2026 season. The team sending out an official notice earlier this morning. Murphy worked as an assistant coach under Craig Counsell. Meanwhile, a familiar face will return to the home dugout as well. Former second baseman Ricky Weeks was named associate manager. The team will formally introduce the new crew tomorrow morning. Good news for the Brewers all around because the American Family Field funding plan was passed by the state legislature yesterday and will be signed by Governor Evers in the next few days. That is the expectation. 2 Wisconsin prisons that have been on lockdown for months while officials deal with staffing shortages will soon see some restrictions lifted.
Governor Evers and Department of Corrections Secretary Kevin Carr say changes will be made at correctional institutions in Waupun and Green Bay. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports the plans include opening access to more services in the prisons, reducing the overall prison population at Waupun, updating solitary confinement policies, and continuing to recruit more staff with the enticement of higher pay. Opponents of the lockdown say conditions are inhumane and leave people confined to a small cell, usually with another person, at nearly all hours of the day. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
President Biden meets with the Chinese president near San Francisco today. CBS's Wai Zhang says there's a lot to discuss.
This meeting is expected to last for about 4 hours, and so they are expected to cover a wide range of issues, including artificial intelligence, including both of the wars going on.
Before the meeting, the two countries did agree to accelerate climate change measures. Meanwhile, the race is on to avert a government shutdown. The Senate has to act before Friday after the House passed a bill on Tuesday night to keep the government running. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
There was strong Democratic support for the Speaker's plan last night in that vote on the House floor. More Democrats, frankly, voted for it than Republicans because there was opposition amongst hardline Republicans to the Speaker's plan. And in the days since that plan was unveiled, and the days since that initial skepticism from Senate Democrats, we've seen Chuck Schumer, the top Democrat in the Senate, as well as Mitch McConnell, the top Republican in that chamber, both come out and say they're behind this plan. Schumer looks poised to put this on the floor any day now.
Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 116 to 34,944. The Nasdaq is up 24 to 14,117, and the S&P is up 9 to 45,05. The Annex Wealth Management Year-End Tax Planning Guide is here. Download yours at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
You wanted them, you got them. Even more Black Friday Now deals at Fleet Farm. Save on delicious Bear Creek soup mixes, 3 for $9. Plus, take 20% off all Lego sets. Spend $100 on Under Armour, get a $30 Fleet Farm gift card free. And stock up on nut and berry bird food, 20 pounds for just $24.99. Shop Black Friday Now at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
Your love isn't confined to an Advent calendar. It doesn't stop when the Christmas lights come down. With the Salvation Army, your love lasts all year long. It puts a present under someone's tree today and a roof over someone's head tomorrow. It brightens Christmas morning and the hardest nights for hardworking families. Together, we can love beyond Christmas. Donate today to support local families all year long at samilwaukee.org.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Froedtert.com/cancer.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update. The Milwaukee Brewers will officially unveil their new manager tomorrow morning, the team says. It will be Pat Murphy, the 20th manager in franchise history, a 3-year contract through the 2026 season. Familiar face coming too. Ricky Weeks, former second baseman, will be named associate manager. Bucks and Raptors tonight on WTMJ. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. College hoops, Marquette beats Illinois. Wisconsin and UWM both lose. Checking the WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Some good news. We had a big old car fire and truck fire situation, 43 northbound near Hampton, that had been snarling up the roadways for some time. That's now been taken care of, so you might still see some slowdowns in that stretch, but it's much better than it was as they deal with that. Right shoulder might still see some action, but as far as all the lanes, they're back open as you drive through the construction there. 94 eastbound Highway 16 all the way to the city, looking good at 17 minutes. 4145 South Highway Q to the Zoo, no problems. And 94 northbound from Layton into downtown. That's on time as well.
Traffic is sponsored by Smart Spaces. Adapt to the modern workplace. SmartSpacesWI.com.
How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Creating technology, great culture, spaces that people really want to come to, attract talent, and keep that talent.
SmartSpacesWI.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and mild, a high of 65 today. Tonight, clear sky, a low of 43. Thursday, more clouds, windy, warm tomorrow, a high of 65. Friday, could see some rain early on. Otherwise, sunny and a high of 48. Saturday, sunny, high of 50. Sunday, sunny and a high of 48 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 59. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. That means 11 o'clock hour. Ask Steve anything, any question, fair game. You pick, I answer. Certainly politics, fair game, since we're ramping up to the 2024 presidential election and everything entailed in all of that nonsense. I'm using nonsense in the term of why I think some of that time spent talking about it will be nonsensical and full of things that really have nothing to do with policy or important decisions that we all have to make about not only who we vote for, but where we go as a country. So big stuff. So any questions, fair game, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. A couple that I got already. Are you planning on getting a new co-host? Well, you never know what happens at WTMJ. Lots of changes ahead. Jeff Wagner announcing his retirement about a month ago, so he will be departing. I know there's some best ofs that are going to run to the end of the year, and then we'll see what happens next year with whether I'll still be here or somewhere else in the lineup. I know this, I'll still be here. So that part's good. And you'll still be able to ask me questions, I think. So I'm excited about that. Somebody asked me on email, and you can also email me at steve.scaffidi, 2Fs1D at WTMJ.com. Steve.scaffidi@WTMJ.com. Phone calls are welcome as well, 855-616-1620. Somebody asked me about the topic I did in the 10 o'clock hour start about the fighting, at this point verbal, although the allegation is that Kevin McCarthy elbowed Representative Burkett, who's also a Republican, by the way. It's not like Democrat and Republican were squaring off. Yesterday, what that means about American politics. So that's kind of a big picture question. What it means is we're losing track. We are losing decorum, the professionalism that has been on display. This is part of the general degradation of culture, right? Less faith, more individualistic actions, and how we spend so much time talking about the individual and not the collective we. But when you splinter the collective we because of politics, and let's be honest about that, it's not surprising that conversation becomes so much harder. Typically, when the U.S. was involved in a military conflict, the nation rallied around the leader. The nation rallied around our country. Now, depending on what you're talking about, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, Middle East, you name it, there's people waiting, whether it's on social media or in the halls of Congress or on network TV or local radio, waiting to take a shot at the leader that's in place now, as if they have sole determination about what happens in the world. And of course, they don't. All right, let's go to the phone lines as I reach for the phone. Joe calling from Mayville. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning. My question, what is it going to take for us to get parents to educate their kids that they need to teach them about politics so that the public school system just doesn't teach them and push their views on them?
It's a great question. I'll let you hang up and listen to the answer. I mean, the answer is this. It's not just politics, it's everything. Parents have gone from being teachers at home to being chauffeurs. Let's be honest. Driving them from one thing to another, year-round sports, club sports, extracurricular activities. Even my friends at Chick-fil-A, well, they won't care that I mentioned this. There's, the fourth meal, right? So there's breakfast, lunch, dinner to fuel them up for their activity. And then on their way home, oh, by the way, let's stop at Chick-fil-A. I got nothing against Chick-fil-A. They have great food. The fourth meal, which is probably not great for the obesity problem or the diabetes problem in this country, but that's the reality, fueling those kids. So I guess what I need from people is, one, an understanding that, and this is me saying this, so I understand the caller may have his own perspective, but my perspective is, if we don't address the disparity, gap, vast divide of American politics in a more reasonable fashion, less verbal fisticuffs like we saw yesterday in the Senate or on social media, we're going to have much bigger problems because that will become violence at some point. And little things that we are seeing play out every day in this country, sometimes not so little things when you're talking about mass shootings, that demonstrate the violent behavior that's on display when politics becomes a driver, is concerning. So parents, less chauffeuring, more teaching. Parents are smart. Often you are working a full-time job. Share that experience. Share what you learn. Share that expertise. Share the knowledge. And if you let a child become consumed by whatever that other thing is, whether it's sports or video games or just lying around, it's going to take away from the power that is parents. All right. A long-winded answer to a great question. All right. We'll take a break here. Ask Steve anything. I got Don and Mike on the line. I got tons of text questions on the old National Bank Talking text line. Just getting warmed up. Ask Steve anything. Wednesday edition right here on WTMJ.
It's WTMJ Now.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, our advisors will build a financial plan that's custom tailored for you. It will include your investments, insurance, estate plan, taxes, and other personalized elements. Let Creative Planning show you a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
WTMJ Now.
All right, Ask Him Anything underway on WTMJ Now, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank Talk and Text line. You can also email me at steve.scaffidi, 2Fs1D at WTMJ.com. Phone lines hopping. Let's go to Mike in Illinois. Hey, Mike. Happy Wednesday.
Good morning, Steve. Happy Wednesday to you, and another beautiful day in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin.
Man, we are running the streak. Let's run it out.
I hope so. I hope we don't pay for it heavy.
Right. I don't want snow.
Yeah, well, it's coming eventually.
Yep. All right, what's your question?
I heard that they are predicting a milder than normal winter, but I digress. I was wondering if you think that Greg Counsell will be booed when he comes back to AmFam Field.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I would say yes, but not by everybody. I don't think it's going to be like the loudest boo we've ever heard, but some people. I can tell you there's Brewers fans that are absolutely ticked off at him. So it wouldn't surprise me. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. I think there will definitely be some, but I think it won't be that. It won't be the majority.
No. Thanks for the call, Mike. Look, I got nothing against Craig Counsell. I think he's a tremendous manager, and I wish him nothing but success, albeit I still want the Brewers to beat the Cubs every time they play them, and I want the Brewers to finish above them in the standings, and I want them to be embarrassed by the Brewers when they play the Cubs. So all that being said, I wish him the best of luck. Now, I saw some of his press conference. Yeah, you're going to have more resources. You got, 3 Golden Gloves on your team? Let's see what you can do. They had that before. They didn't win anything. So we shall see. Don calling from the West Side. Hi, Don.
Hi, Steve. My question is, what is the proper name of the former Republican Party? Is it the Trump Party, the MAGA Party? I think we saw the MAGA Party at its finest in the Senate yesterday, when you have a senator calling a witness thugs and wanting to basically beat them up. But it shouldn't be a surprise, because that's actually what Trump does all the time.
Yeah, the whole bullying thing is part of that story. I would agree. I mean, yeah, you could say the Trump wing of the party. See, and thanks for the call, Don. I don't think the Republican Party's dead. I'm part of the party, so I want them to succeed. And, usually somebody asks me what's the difference between the parties. Well, to me, a Republican Party still means less government. It means fiscal responsibility. It means staying out of the way. Stop trying to take over every aspect of our lives. You can't run everything. It's not possible. The government can't afford that, and we see that with the exploding deficit. But whether it's splinters, which, one part's Trump, one part maybe, you could call them Reagan conservatives, the Reagan wing of the party. I don't know. Traditional conservatives, maybe the leftovers are called GOP, Grand Old Party, whatever it is. I think at some point, if Trump is still in the equation, and I think there's still an if to that. I know that some people think it's a slam dunk. I don't. And my teammate here, Jeff Wagner, thinks the same thing. He would not be surprised if Trump's not the nominee, even though with his strong standing right now in polls, not votes, but polls. So we'll see. There's a year to go. Lots can happen. Joe Biden wasn't going to be the nominee. And then all of a sudden he was, and then he became president. So we shall see. And for selfishly, because I've been talking about her candidacy for a long time, Nikki Haley is now number 2 behind Donald Trump. Could that ever be number 1? Depends what happens with Donald Trump. Let's go to Steve in Oak Creek, my favorite city. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
So who gets credit for the idea? Who gets credit for the idea of having Annie Schwartz on? Because she's just terrific.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for the call, Steve. That's Annie Schwartz. I've known Annie for a long time, partly because of her work with law enforcement, and I think I had her on a guest a few times, and we kind of tossed the idea of having her be a regular contributor to the show, which is something I'm going to focus more on in the year ahead, hopefully. There's a lot of wisdom there, and you'll notice, especially as of late, we're going to weave in really important, relevant, topical guests. Today we had Chief Dan Thompson from the city of Waukesha as they mark that 2-year date from the parade tragedy next Tuesday. We got Aaron Lipsky from the Milwaukee Fire Department coming up in a couple weeks, and lots of other great guests that sort of tell the story behind the story. And if you were listening today, the chief told a remarkable story about his connection to trauma and wellness on the job. So it's not just about officer wellness, it's also about chief wellness. And I encourage you to listen to the podcast for that hour. He joined us at 9:30. Tremendous appearance on the show today. So let's get to there's so many on the text line. I can tell you right now I'm going to not get to all of these. Let's see. Is there a holiday show this year? No, we're moving in a different direction. So what each of us are being tasked with doing is creating our own special holiday hours. I'm doing 2 separate hours that will run throughout the holiday season. And I was just talking to producer Charlie about this morning. One is going to be a special 1-hour presentation of holiday cooking with Chef Michael Fecker. We're going to record it next week, I think. He's also on the show next week talking about Thanksgiving cooking. So mark your calendar. I think he's on Tuesday or Wednesday, 11 o'clock hour. I'll have to look. I'll try to give you the exact time and date later in the show. And then the other hour is going to be a collection of some of our great interviews throughout the year. I'll bring back a Salute to Service interview, maybe something from Brewers opening day. I had some great interviews with some of the players and coaches that day. And then a little bit of the Gary Sinise interview that Sandy Max and I did about a month, maybe 2 months ago now, maybe 6 weeks. I don't know what it was. He was fantastic. Obviously a humanitarian, philanthropic actor, writer, and somebody who is looked on as somebody who gets the veteran's story, especially wounded vets. So we'll bring some of that. So that second hour will be kind of a collection of some of our, I don't want to say greatest hits, but some of our great interviews throughout the year that was 2023. And we'll run those. I don't know the times they'll run yet, but they'll be mixed into the holiday programming as some of us are off. I think I'm only off 3 days during the holidays, maybe 4. I'm not taking the whole last 2 weeks of the year off, but I will be around and we're going to have some fun shows. I love to do the recap shows of 2023 and the look ahead. So we'll do a little bit of that with politics as well. All right, we'll take a break. Lots of text questions. You can jump on the line, 855-616-1620. Ask Steve anything. We do it every Wednesday at 11 o'clock hour right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Lazaga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Lazaga only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
Hey, looking for a gift for something that's hard to buy for? How about this? Omaha Steaks or omahasteaks.com. Use the promo code WTMJ. $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required. So fall's in the air. We're looking forward to crisp mornings, the falling leaves, sweater weather. More importantly, it's the perfect time for fall grilling, tailgating, cozy comfort food. Omaha Steaks is all your cravings covered with 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. 50% off all your favorite tender, juicy, extra-aged steaks like their butcher's cut filet mignons, which I've had, are amazing. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Use promo code WTMJ. At checkout, get $30 off your order. With Omaha Steaks, the endless possibilities are amazing. Endless flavor, endless value, incredible entrees, decadent desserts, so much more. All of them 50% off during the semi-annual sale. Every site is backed by their 100% unconditional guarantee. Go to omahasteaks.com. Shop all your favorite delicious favorites for half the price. Don't forget to enter promo code WTMJ checkout for an extra $30 off. Hurry. The sale is for a limited time. Minimum order may be required.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here. Are you thinking about remodeling your bath or shower? Well, now's the perfect time to save on design and remodeling with Kohler Services, a family-owned business for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer, offering fast, professional installation and care for life. For 2 weeks only, Kohler Services is offering $1,500 off your shower or bath remodel from now until November 15th. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Get ready, Wisconsin. It's Medicare annual enrollment period, so why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for Wisconsin. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
It's WTMJ Now.
Any question is fair game. Yes, ask Steve anything on this Wednesday edition of WTMJ Now. I'm Steve, of course, so I will be answering those questions. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. You can email me at steve.scaffidi, 2Fs1D at WTMJ.com. Lori from Fond du Lac, what special snacks do you bring to deer hunting? Ooh, fantastic question. So I will never deer hunt without licorice. A big bag of, in this case, this year, strawberry licorice. I also do black licorice. Although you can't eat as much of that because there's actually a little bit of a health risk to black licorice if you overconsume. Look it up. Google it. It's true. Also, beef sticks. Nothing better on a cold, sometimes snowy day. It won't be that case this year. It'll be a warmer, drier opening day, gun deer season in Wisconsin. But beef sticks, in this case, I have pork sticks this year, spicy pork sticks. What else do I have? Usually have an apple or two. I'll mix it up, whatever's good, some candy, sorted caramels and the like. You're sitting out there. I'm out there all day. So if you're not seeing deer, you got to consume your time with something, and usually that's eating. But here's the thing. You got to fuel your body when it's cold, right? Keeps you warm. So great question, Lori. Let's see. Steve, I've been watching a lot of UW Badger football over the years, but this year is the worst I've ever seen. I think I've ever seen. Should the AD, McIntosh, be fired, or the coach? This team is an embarrassment. Yeah, too early for that. Fickle's not going to get fired. But boy, oh boy, given this season, I would already say that he's on the hot seat next year. You better improve. When you get your own players, and some of these folks are holdouts, or holdovers, I should say. Not holdouts, holdovers. So you give them a little bit of leeway. They have not looked good. Just not looked good. All sides, all parts of the game. And in brutal honesty, I'm not a huge college football fan. I never spend any time watching games. It's just not my thing. I love NFL football. I will spend literally, especially when there's a European game on, from 8:30 in the morning to 10:30 at night on Sundays watching NFL football. I don't have that same level of interest in college. It's not my thing. There's too much manufactured nonsense. The whole University of Michigan scandal with Jim Harbaugh, who's got to be one of the weirdest dudes. He's successful, yes, but he's like one of the weirdest dudes on the planet. With the glasses and a dumb hat and just his khakis. He rubs me the wrong way. And his brother's the same way. His brother Jim at Baltimore Ravens. Just odd people. Don't know him personally, but just the perception I have is that they're odd people. Just my thoughts. You don't have to agree. Jim joins us from the city of Hales Corners. Hi, Jim.
How you doing today, Steve?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. Quick question for you. What's your take on the Milwaukee County park and ride lots that have turned into motorhome tent cities with just people have been there for a long time? Have you seen this yet?
I've seen it firsthand. Thanks for the call, Jim. Yeah, it drives me nuts. What are we doing here? Do we move the problem from one place to another? It seems like we did. We moved it from underneath freeways and overpasses, so now we're doing it in the park and ride lots. To be honest, somebody came up to me in the parking ride and lot on College. I didn't feel safe. The garbage cans are overflowing. If you look at I think it's College, the number of RVs on the north lot, because I think there's a north and south lot on College Avenue. I think that's right. It's ridiculous. This is not a RV campground. I understand we have to help people, but the way to help them is not to stick them in parking ride lots. There's a reason we have those. That's so commuters can share rides. You can avoid taking more cars into the city of Milwaukee or down south when you have multiple people going to the same destination. That's why we have these. Or to utilize the bus service. It's not to have permanent campgrounds. And I saw it in the south lot at College when we went on a listener trip. There was probably a dozen people that are actively camping in tents. Now, that was in September. I haven't looked on that south lot recently, but that should not happen. And as far as the garbage goes, pick up the damn garbage. A good news story, though, I commented on the bumper that was sitting on the on-ramp, Drexel Avenue northbound, Drexel Avenue, Oak Creek. That bumper was gone the next day. How about that? Someone does listen. All right, from the text line, am I giving myself too much credit, perhaps? Let's see. Have you ever been to the Star Dairy in Waiawega? Yes, I have. I've bought stuff. I actually interviewed, he was either the owner or the manager probably about 5 years ago. What I'm going to try to do this year, every year for about 4 years, I interviewed the managers and owners of Shriners, which is gone now, which is sad because it was an iconic stop on the way north on the Friday before opening day of gun deer season, and it's gone now, and I miss it. Anybody who went to Shriners can tell you the uniqueness of it and the coolness of the great food, the great service, all of that. But Star Dairy in Waiawega is actually another one of those places. Great cheese, whether it's curds, whether it's the sticks, spicy cheese, pepper cheese. It's all amazing. And maybe I'll stop again this year and talk to them. So my goal this year is to gather some sound from deer camp, our neighbor's deer camp, the Van Zeeland group there that's adjoining our property, family property, I should say. Always spend some time with them. We're having a great fish fry there Friday night. Nate always puts on a great buffet for us with some great conversation. So I'm going to interview some of those folks if I can. And maybe the Star Dairy in Waiawega is going to be on the list as well. Mabel says she has info on the park and ride, so maybe we call it Ask Mabel. Hi, Mabel. Mabel. Go. There she is. Mabel.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
There I am. I was going under the tunnel by the airport.
All right.
When Katrina hit and people had vacated, and I see that coming into the park and rides where it's like, we don't give a crap's ass. It's like, we're entitled. We can do this because we have no place else to go. Let somebody else take care of the garbage, not us. It's just being lazy, and it's just like entitlement. I just don't get it. It's just, yeah, you're right. Pick up after yourself. But I felt so bad for the managers at these hotels where they just put their half-eaten food out in the hallway, and it's not a hotel that has room service. Come on, folks.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mabel. We had a little technical difficulty at the beginning there, but look, what is it with garbage? Like, people think you just leave stuff everywhere. And like if I'm someplace and I have a bag of garbage and I see that the garbage can or facility is already overfilled, I don't add mine to the mix. I take it with. Likewise, to the people who still in this time throw their garbage out the window, are you serious? Stop doing that. Drives me nuts. And I made a point of talking about communities. One of the easiest ways to make your community look better is to organize and pick up garbage. I don't care if it's not your job. I don't care if it's you're busy. Doesn't matter. You want people to love your city? Have a clean city. Simple thing you can do. Also cut down weeds that are 4 feet tall in left turn lanes because I don't care, again, who the jurisdiction is. It looks like you're not paying attention. My quick civics lesson for local leaders. Always happy to share my wisdom from my experience as a mayor. you know I was a mayor and a season ticket holder? There you go. All right. Ask Steve anything. Any question, fair game. 855-616-1620. We'll tee up the next round of questions after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
You wanted them? You got them. Even more Black Friday Now deals at Fleet Farm. Save on delicious Bear Creek soup mixes, 3 for $9. Plus, take 20% off all Lego sets. Spend $100 on Under Armour, get a $30 Fleet Farm gift card free. And stock up on nut and berry bird food, 20 pounds for just $24.99. Shop Black Friday Now at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. When I blew out my hamstring water skiing this summer, my docs at Ortho Wisconsin heard me talking about it on the radio. They called me. Hey, do you need to come in and get this thing checked out? Actually, I did. And I'm back on the tennis court playing golf, grateful for the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injured, or maybe the young athlete in your family needs help? The Ortho ASAP Clinic has walk-in hours in Brookfield and Pewaukee, or make an appointment at orthowisconsin.com.
Old National Bank.
I just got your home equity loan, and this feeling of joy and exhilaration overcame me.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon we call getting old.
Wow, so I'm not the only one?
No, small business owners feel it with expansion loans. Families feel it when they're setting up trusts and 529s. Nonprofits who need financing to help the community. And anyone who needs investment advice, they all feel it.
So it's not just me?
No, you're in a pretty big club.
Like a club I can join?
I really don't.
Is there at least a secret handshake?
Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Old National. Get old. Member FDIC.
The Brewers' annual clubhouse sale returns for 2 days only, Friday, December 1st and Saturday, December 2nd from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Head to American Family Field to save up to 80% on Brewers apparel, game-used items, and memorabilia. Plus, get a free Brewers water bottle or tumbler when you spend $100 or more while supplies last. It's the Brewers' best sale of the season, right in time for the holidays. Don't miss out.
WTMJ Now.
Ask Steve anything. This has nothing to do with that, but I'm watching one of the local stations and they're showing pictures of people shoveling snow. Don't do that. I understand it's winter weather awareness. I get it. But it's like going to be 60-something out there today and sunny. Let us enjoy that. How about a 1-minute blurb on winter weather awareness? Get to that next week. My goodness. Celebrate the good stuff. Phil joins us from Stevens Point, one of my favorite cities. I think it's in Portage County, Wisconsin. Hi, Phil.
That's correct. Yeah, you guys are talking about this litter and stuff. Like where I live, people, they ride around and drink a can of beer and fling it out the window. Like every spring, I find at least 50, 60 cans, empty cans of beer and little booze bottles thrown out along the road, which is maybe like a mile and a half. I cannot believe how many people can do this without the consequence. I think it's like a $300 or $400 fine if you're caught, but they just don't seem to give a rip,
Yeah, and thanks for the call, Phil. Calling from one of my favorite cities in Wisconsin, Stevens Point, not because it shares my same first name, although it's spelled differently. Look, keep your garbage in your car. That goes for cigarette butts, too. Stop flicking them out on the freeway. You don't need to do that. You want to smoke, you keep the butts in your car. It's not our problem that you're smoking. But let me say this, to Phil's point. If you're somebody that lives along a highway, if you're somebody that lives along a busy street, I know it requires a little time. Take it upon yourself to take a garbage bag, put some gloves on, maybe one of those pickers, and just spend a half hour picking up garbage. I used to do this in Oak Creek. So anybody who lives in Oak Creek knows the Howell Avenue area, busy north-south, Highway 38. And I live adjacent to the high school, and I would walk around that area with a garbage bag and pick up garbage while I'm walking. Little things like that. If everybody does that, we don't have garbage flying around all over the place. Little things matter. So stop throwing your garbage out the window. When you have a chance, pick up everybody else's garbage, and we'll have less garbage that we have to look at. All right, 855-616-1620. Steve, are you excited the Packers are playing on Thanksgiving? Or will that put a damper on your turkey day? LOL. I'm excited about it. Here's why. One, I kind of always look forward to the Turkey Day games, and the fact that the Packers are playing for the first time in a few years is fun. Now, they're playing a very tough Lions team, first place, 7-2, I believe. So that's concerning. And as I said, I'm being a very patient fan this year, not getting too wrapped up in the wins or losses because it's really a rookie season, even though it's his fourth year for Jordan Love. But here's the cool part for Thanksgiving. So typically we have 15. I think we have 13 this year, maybe 13 or 15 people. Formal setting, all the china. This year, watch and eat where you land. Couches, chairs, bench, whatever. Very casual. I would do that every Thanksgiving if my wife Kathy would let us. Just easier. I even think the cleanup's easier. Now, yes, people have to watch what they're doing. They don't want to spill turkey and gravy all over everything, but I think they'll be good. And we got a little kids table, little kids chairs. They'll be fine. I got 3 grandkids. They'll be just fine. They love to play together. So I'm excited that we're playing on Thanksgiving this year, regardless if we win or lose. From the 920, Steve, my wife and I always get into discussion about how well 401ks, investments, et cetera, are doing. I tell her since Biden's been in office, it's been a disaster. And she says that it doesn't matter what president is in. They don't control the markets and the economy. Can you explain how this works? Well, sort of. Fiscal policy is driven to a large degree by the governing party, right? Presidents, the institutions of Congress, right? Senate and House. So I don't necessarily completely agree with that. So much of what's involved in your 401k or investments is how you plan. And this is why we have Dave Spano on from Mannix Wealth Management, because even in volatile markets with high anxiety and uncertainty, having a plan can actually avoid some of these massive drops in your value. Now, nothing's perfect, right? And I'm not an economic advisor either. But weathering the storm, putting yourself in the best position, knowing when to buy, knowing when to get out, all these things. That's why we have professionals. And I don't want to make this a commercial for Mannix Wealth Management or AnnixWealth.com, but they kind of know what they're doing. And that decision-making by you, the saver and investor, is important. So whether it's Joe Biden's faults or Donald Trump's before him, who drove up the national debt tremendously, what do we gain by that conversation? Nothing, other than a political conversation which yields no policy changes. What's the policy that drives it? That's more important. But what do I tell you all the time? When policy becomes secondary to party and all the other nonsense, the fights, verbal fights in the Senate, elbowing between members of the House, the silliness, the chaos, the absurdity of election nonsense, all takes away from the policy side of things. Not positive, not healthy, not good for the country. All right, we'll take a break. Ask Steve anything right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Kick off your holiday season this year with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and one of Santa's most famous magical helpers, Buddy. That's right, Elf in Concert comes to the Bradley Symphony Center November 24th through the 26th, when Yaniv Denur leads the MSO in John Debney's delightful score, as Jon Favreau's hilarious and heartwarming film is projected across the screen. Call the MSO box office for tickets now at 414-291-7605 or visit MSO.org. Santa may come once a year, but an experience like Elf in Concert may only come once in a lifetime. Don't miss this opportunity to experience fun for the whole family when the MSO presents Elf in Concert live with orchestra November 24th through the 26th. Visit MSO.org for tickets or call 414-291-7605.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
The average 30-year fixed rate is the highest it's been in 23 years. But low overhead AccuNet still has some special 30-year fixed rate money for first-time Wisconsin homebuyers at a rate of 6.625%. That's right, 6.625 on a 30-year fixed with an APR as low as 6.8 with as little as 3% down. Household income limits apply and vary by household size and the county in which your new home is located. Now, you might be thinking this is too good to be true, but it is true, and it gets even a little better. AccuNet can also provide a 10-year fixed second mortgage at an APR of 6.625 to cover the minimum 3% down payment and closing costs. First-time buyers in today's market have an advantage. You don't have a home to sell, and the housing market is a little less competitive all of a sudden, too. Hear that sound? That's opportunity knocking. Answer the door and click on the blue button today at Accunet.com for your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. Put it simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
WTMJ Now.
All right, got a few minutes left. I've asked Steve anything for this Thursday. Somebody asked about Chef Michael Fecker. He'll be on next Tuesday, 11 o'clock hour. And that's going to be Thanksgiving cooking and all the stuff that goes into that. Some of the, the snacks you could cook, the turkey, of course, and all the accoutrements of a typical Thanksgiving feast. The cornucopia, to use that overused term that nobody uses anymore. Old Thanksgiving word. And then we're going to record a special holiday cooking show with Chef Michael Fecker. You know him from El Mito and Dobie's on the South Side. Great restaurants, great local restaurants, fantastic food. We'll record a holiday special with him that will air during the holiday season. Full hour on holiday treats and snacks and tips with Chef Michael Fecker, who's always fun to talk to. So next Tuesday, 11 o'clock hour, mark your calendars, put in your Outlook calendar, whatever you need to do. All right, get back to the phone lines. Bob from Oconomowoc. Hi, Bob.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, good. What's your question?
I'm not a fan of Trump for president, but given that, do you see any chance that any of the people that are running for president right now would take a second place vice president spot on his ticket if it became
interesting?
If it became him for president?
Yeah, I guess my quick answer, I'll let you hang up and listen, but the quick answer is no, because typically that would not inspire Donald Trump to be willing to forgive and forget, because basically if you're running against him, you're his enemy. I think Bill McCoshen threw out the name, maybe it was Joe, but I think it was Bill, Kristi Noem, the governor. That's a likely candidate. And there's probably a few other people. Somebody said Tim Scott the other day. Perhaps that might be one of those. Who is now withdrawn from the race, and I think he has a pretty good relationship with the former president. Anybody who's going to be that presidential pick if Trump gets a nomination, which is still an if, despite big leads in the polls, you have to agree to a lot, and you have to take a lot of abuse from the president, former or otherwise. So that's a tough road. So we'll see, but I think that's something to factor in, how willing they would be to put up with all of the noise that surrounds former President Donald Trump. All right, James from the South Side. Hey, James.
Yes. Do you feel that the Bucs are gonna maybe if they don't straighten out their ways here, play defense, and that this coach maybe before the All-Star break will be gone, and maybe Bud will come on back to try to right the ship? I don't see that this guy's really doing that great of a job.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Jay. I don't see that happening. One, they're going to have a lot of patience with a new coach. What are they, 6-4 right now? And they play in Toronto tonight. Now, that's a team that Griffin formerly coached on. So can he bring some of that Raptors knowledge to the Bucs side of things? The biggest problem with the Bucs this year is inconsistent lineup, right? inconsistent shooting on occasion. I think it was the last game they shot lights out in the first quarter and couldn't make a shot in the third. So, I mean, that's been something that's plagued this Bucks franchise for a long time, inconsistency. And, we spent a lot of trade value in getting Dame Lillard there, and he needs to step up. That means we need Dame Lillard from game 1 of the season to be the same Dame Lillard in game 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 and beyond. And the bottom line for the Bucks is it's not even about the regular season because we've been the number 1 seed. We've been the middle seed. If you go back far enough, we've been the last seed. What do you do in the playoffs? And for Griffin, I don't think he's to the point where he's not going to make the playoffs because they're 6-4 and they have not played that well. If they figure it out, everything's cool. But if they stumble again in the playoffs, I think next year, just like with the some of the coaches I mentioned earlier, the leash will be shorter than you typically see. So thanks for the call, James. A few more from the text line, the Old National Bank text line. There's a million questions. I'm not going to get to all of them. Whether the Packers are in the hunt or not, does it make sense to trade a good defensive back, Rasul Douglas, for a future third-round pick to build draft capital? That's a question that you have to determine by time and success. They played pretty well without Rasul Douglas on Sunday in Pittsburgh. And if you're going young and they're the youngest team in the NFL, maybe that's the strategy, and you'll continue to go young if you keep stockpiling draft picks. As much as they didn't want to use the word or the term rebuilding, this is a rebuilding year and maybe next year too. I would take heart as a Packers fan that they at least were competitive in these games. Now, the big difference is when they had a chance to win in at least 3 or 4 of these games, they blew it. Jordan Love threw interceptions. But all those games, they had a chance to win at the end. They threw those away. Can he learn from that? Well, that's part of the development of Jordan Love. Can he be a winning quarterback? We'll see. But I put a lot of stock in the numbers, the comparison between Aaron Rodgers in his first year as a starter and Jordan Love, and they're not dissimilar. So that question, I think, will be answered by time. And ultimately, this year, they have some winnable games. We ran through that with Brandon Snyder, Monday Morning Quarterback. They have some winnable games still on the schedule. Unfortunately, the tough part of the schedule is coming up in the next few weeks. All right, we'll see what Jeff Wagner's got on his mind after this on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Maybe, just maybe, these judges need to start learning that light sentences are not doing anybody a favor. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And in what I fully consider this to be a crime against mankind, you will find pumpkin spiced beer. Pumpkin and beer, to me, you can have pumpkin pie and wash it down with a beer, but pumpkin spiced beer, I'm sorry, I'm not down with that. Yeah.
Weekdays from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
If you own a company or you're in management, you know how valuable your local employees are. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Show your gratitude with a company holiday party at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club, recently voted the best supper club in the